being convinced that someone named Creed Steed Creamroper. Yeah,
I had a buddy text me and said he thought that was the most fantastic thing ever.
So,
and he said that he will always have that as his alias every time.
And later found out there's an account that just comes up with these minor league or prospect names that are supposed to be fringe believable, and there's a whole list of them.
Yeah, so he's going to check into hotels as Steed Creamroper. Mr. Creamroper.
Just hearing Mr. Creamroper. But if you could have Mr. Glasscock, why can't you have Mr. Creamroper?
You can.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you? I love it. I'm all about it.
Yeah, let's go.
Well, Buckley has finally turned on YouTube.
Yeah.
That is not Jeff Russ' fault. Buckley's got to check that. So apologize for you missing the first 20 minutes. I was great in the first 20 minutes. I don't know how you feel, but
trust me, it was
pretty
fantastic.
award-winning.
Your hair looks great. You got a real dad flannel going on right now. Let's go. You're dialed in.
Let's go. Let's get to our poll question today. As always, it is brought to you by AAA Heating and Cooling, family business helping families for over 60 years. AAAIAQ.com. It is on X at 1080 The Fan. Okay, yesterday was, will Major League Baseball ever reside in our area? How do you feel that went?
I'm going to say people, no. I don't think anyone.
How much, though?
70% no.
70%?
Yeah.
57%
a little more positive than I
said,
thought.
oh, God, no.
Yeah.
43% said, oh, hell yeah.
That's better than I thought.
Oh, no.
I swear, the amount of negativity towards that, at least what I hear, it's just overwhelming. It's kind of shocking almost.
Yeah. So that's yesterday's.
The enormity of their stupidity is just overwhelming.
Today, which new coach / quarterback combo are you riding with? Dan Quinn, Sam Howell.
No.
What's Morris? Raheem Morris?
Yeah.
Raheem Morris, Baker Mayfield.
That's all right.
Yeah. Dave Canales, Bryce Young.
Nope.
Mike McDonald, Geno Smith.
Boy,
it's not that easy, is it?
That's kind of an S sandwich. I think I'll take Baker and Morris.
No.
Really?
Strong. Yeah. No.
Baker's good. I think Baker's better than we.
Yeah, he's all right.
Yeah. Well, he's better than that.
Well, he's the best quarterback of those four.
Yes.
But that's not saying much.
No, it's not. But at the same time, I think we have this vision of Baker Mayfield as the Carolina Panther Baker Mayfield. And he was never bad in Cleveland. He won a playoff game in Cleveland. And then what we remember is that he got hurt. He played that whole year with a bum shoulder.
I've made a mistake.
Yeah.
Thanks to the texter.
What do you got?
I'm pulling a buck.
All right.
Morris is in Atlanta. Why did I put Baker Mayfield on there?
Oh, yeah. I don't know.
Wait, so now every bungle is just attributed to me over here?
Correct.
Okay. Just want to make sure.
Because they don't have.
I'm going to have to pull that down. I got to put up a new one.
Fire away, big boy.
Yeah, they don't really have a.
Well, they have Ritter.
They don't.
But you don't want to ride with that, do you?
No, I don't.
That screws up my poll question today.
That does screw up the poll question.
What a terrible Friday mistake by me.
It happens. Well, are you being racist and you're just going with black coaches?
What? No, Dan Quinn's white. McDonald's white.
No, but the head coach of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Oh, yeah, right. Well, no, I think it's because he used to be the coach of the Bucs, right?
He used to be the coach of the Bucs.
Yeah, that's probably why.
Hey, by the way, just had a little powwow with Jeff Rustin here.
Yeah.
We're throwing Swag under the bus.
Oh,
Swag was in here during the transition. It threw everything off.
Yeah, I did see Swigard. What's he doing here?
I got back from a Portland Pilots road trip, had some things to do.
Yeah, I did see him lurking outside of the building, and quite frankly, it made me uncomfortable.
But we're going to make him catch the strays now.
But yeah, I think you were just going with a black head coach, and there you go. Todd Bowles, who you're looking for. Though, to be honest with you, I was like, oh, yeah.
What a failure.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to come up with a new poll question.
It's a rough start. You know, we started out with a bang.
You didn't even notice it.
No, I did not. Well, I assume that the poll question is correct.
I know. You're expecting excellence from me, and you didn't get it.
I was really just going off quarterbacks,
I got to be better. Well, of the 8 new coaches, only 3 would be keeping, probably 3 keeping their current quarterback. You certainly have Harbaugh Herbert.
That's obviously.
That's clear.
Yeah.
Bryce Young. Mm-hmm. And then maybe Geno.
Well, I think the Titans are Callahan's going to keep. I think Will Levis is the guy there, at least in the short term. It's not going to be Ryan Tannehill, so they'll hold on to that. Carolina.
See, I didn't put Callahan Levis on there.
No.
Just because, I mean, come on. They're not going to win. I think I'm just going to change. I'm just going to go Morris Ritter.
Yeah, and then you would have had Pierce and O'Connell, if that does anything for you.
Yeah, but I just assumed they were going in different directions, although a different direction at quarterback, although I would imagine Washington is too. You know what? It's just, let's scrap it. It's just a bad poll.
Yeah, Washington, 100%. They have the number 2 overall pick.
Yeah.
And it sounds like they may have the number 1 pick if Chicago wants to bail on it. And there's a real possibility that they bail there too. So, you know, we'll see. Yeah,
How about this?
It was not a great.
How about this? No poll question today, okay? AAA heating and cooling, though. Family business helping families for over 60 years.
Yes.
What would you say you do here?
God.
I still contend. Back to my original point, whether it's Todd Bowles or Raheem Morris, Baker Mayfield is better than people give him credit for. Baker Mayfield is a solid quarterback.
Well, we knew that.
Yeah, I just think he's closer to the
But he did throw the game-losing interception.
He is closer to the Dak Prescott's, Kirk Cousins of the world than he is to the Mac Jones. I'm trying to think of who else is just, you know.
No, I think that's
Jimmy
right.
Garoppolo.
Jimmy Garoppolo. Garoppolo's not a bottom feeder, but you know, I think Baker's closer to the upper half. Like
You'd take Baker over Garoppolo?
Yes, I would. Not even close.
Yeah, I would too.
Not even close.
Not even close.
Yeah, I thought that last interception by Baker was pretty predictable. It was like very Baker Mayfield-y.
Yeah,
although
that was a tough situation. You're trying to force balls. It's the end of the game. Those are tough situations.
Well, no, you're trying to drive him down and get a touchdown.
Yeah.
You can't turn it over.
No. But again.
But that's why I don't. I mean, that to me is exactly what Jimmy Garoppolo did. You know, when the game's on the line in the playoffs, you don't trust Baker Mayfield and you don't trust Jimmy Garoppolo.
No, but I guess I make the argument to me that when I think of Garoppolo's a fine quarterback. One, he can never stay healthy. Baker, despite the shoulder, Baker has been fairly durable. He had the 1 year where it was bad there. And I think Garoppolo is the definition of a product of the system around him. If you put good things around him, Garoppolo's fine. He can be solid. I think Baker is a little better than that. He's obviously not good enough to carry Carolina. No one was good enough to carry Carolina.
Baker just slings it around a little better.
Yeah.
You know, it makes more plays, I think.
Yeah. Like I'm looking here, I'm looking at total QBR for 2023. I want to see where Baker comes in. He comes in at 18. So like,
who's he around?
He's around Trevor Lawrence. He's around Derek Carr. CJ Stroud's in there.
Yeah.
And the QBR can be a little weird. I'd go more off of the quarterback rating. QBR to me is a little funky.
Isn't it the same thing?
No, the QBR it goes into it's a much deeper formula and it can get a little wonky. Like QBR, Brock Purdy's the number 1 quarterback in the NFL.
QBR. I like quarterback rating.
Yeah, I prefer.
Who's number 1?
I prefer that stat as well. Now
Dak.
I have to go through and actually find what the actual quarterback rating is.
Late breaking Seattle Seahawks news. Do you guys like your Seattle Seahawks? We're the home of the Seahawks.
Yes, we are.
Seattle.
They've added Leslie Frazier to their coaching staff.
Okay, so he took a break. Remember, he stepped down.
Yeah, I forgot about him.
Yeah.
I forgot he was still sitting out there, but he was the Bills' defensive coordinator?
He was. And then he took a step back, and McDermott kind of took over, and Leslie Frazier is a very well-respected guy.
Yeah, former head coach of the Vikings.
Yes.
All right, well, I guess McDonald, I don't know where, but McDonald, it had to have been in Baltimore.
Yeah.
McDonald's worked with him. He's mentored McDonald, and so he's going to bring him on to be his sage.
And by the way, number 1 in just QB rating for 2023 is indeed Brock Purdy.
Okay, so QBR and quarterback rating.
Yeah, Brock's number 1. And then you got Dak. So I'm looking here at where my man comes in at. Yeah, Baker's 12th. And he's around Matthew Stafford, Jordan Love mixed in there. You know, Pat Mahomes only finished 14th this year.
Yeah.
93.
Yeah, they had some rough.
He didn't have a great regular season.
No, he did not.
Large in part to his wide receivers being so poor, but still.
Yeah.
Right, they were dropping everything, and now they're catching everything.
Yeah. I'm just saying, if you gave me a choice, like, and I don't get an elite quarterback, right? I'm not going to get a top 8 to 10 quarterback, which is we all know those guys. You're not getting Lamar. You're not getting Allen. You're not getting Herbert. You're not getting any of those. And you get down to that next cut of people. I think Baker's near the top of it. I just think I think he's a good quarterback that got forgotten. I'm glad that he had a good year in Tampa. His numbers were almost identical to Tom Brady's last year in Tampa. He led him to the playoffs, and I don't know.
Would you rather have him or Kirk Cousins?
I think I'd rather have Cousins.
You like that? You like that?
I think I think largely they're the same player. They're in that same area, but Cousins has better numbers and he's done it for longer. And again, I like Cousins more than a lot of people. I think he's another guy that for some reason, like when you're not one of the top 6 guys, we just love to crap on you. I call it the LaMarcus Aldridge syndrome. LaMarcus Aldridge is a hell of a player. And we're like, well, he's not Tim Duncan. No, he's not. Not a lot of people are. Well, Kirk Cousins, he's no Josh Allen. He's no Patrick Mahomes. No.
Few people are.
Few people are. But there's nothing wrong with being Kirk Cousins. There's nothing wrong with being Baker Mayfield. It's just that if you're not one of those guys, we love to say that you suck. And it's just not true. You know, if you want to say that like Will Levis sucks, yeah, then I'm on board. You want to say Mac Jones? You want to say Zach Wilson? You want to say Bryce Young, Desmond Ridder? Yes, I will listen to that all day. They're not good quarterbacks, but Baker and Dak and Kirkers and these guys, Derek Carr even, they're not bad. Tua, they're not bad quarterbacks.
Okay.
They're very good quarterbacks.
You walk into a room.
Yeah.
In that room sits Bryce Young, Tua, Mayfield, and Carr.
Mm-hmm. Tua.
Oh.
Taking Tua.
Are you?
Yeah. The fact that he was able to stay healthy this year, I'll take Tua. Because none of those guys are carrying my offense. They're going to need stuff around him. But again, numbers back it up that when he's got players around him, Tua can put up numbers. But the answer to that is Tua maybe aside of Baker Mayfield. Tua and Baker.
Not Carr?
Nah. I'm off Derek Carr a little bit. I think he's a notch below that. But, you know, again, very good quarterback.
Jake Browning.
No.
Why not?
No. You know
Husky, dude.
You know the one that looks rough and it's only been 1 year and I'm not
Bryce
ready to
Young.
throw anyone out, but Bryce Young showed me nothing this year. I watched Carolina to try to see a sign of life.
Wasn't pretty.
It was really bad.
Was not pretty.
No, and he was supposed to be the most NFL ready guy and
Right.
Yeah. It was rough.
All right, let's get to our College Football Friday fun bag. The SEC and the Big Ten are joining forces. We'll start there next. Here's Buck.
This is a Football Friday edition of Primetime.
Sort of. We'll tell you what he said today.
Sure, it was dynamite.
But first, our College Football Friday fun bag. Got some college things adding up over here.
Yeah, get some college stuff. The Senior Bowl wrapping up. A lot of reports coming out of that.
The Ducks got Jabbar Muhammad,
That's a great get for them.
the corner.
Which is weird because obviously he's a UW guy, but he was only in UW for 1 year.
Yeah, is that a little strange that the Washington guy is now at Oregon?
Yeah, it's strange, but I saw an interview, or I guess an interview was just a statement that he made. And he said that he didn't care about anything other than getting to the league. He thought that he wanted to be in the best position to win a championship and to be developed and scheme and to get to the next level. And I mean, I think this was just a matter of he thought that UW's roster and the coach and all that, and I get it, is going to take a step backwards. And Oregon probably gave him a good chunk of change. He was one of the better corners available on the transfer market. And, you know, he was a hired gun when he went to UW. He was at Oklahoma State for 3 years, UW, and now Oregon. And he'll be a first or second round pick next year if everything goes well.
I feel like a lot of guys are hired guns, way more than we know.
Yeah.
And that's being exposed now because of the Nick Saban effect.
Sure.
Wall Street Journal did this thing on him today, and they were talking about the trickle down of Saban retiring.
Yeah.
And it affected, in all, 53 coaches.
Bless you.
Thank you. 24 programs and 55 players.
Yeah.
And they had this graph where they showed where the players went. And, you know, they transfer to a lot of different places. Generally speaking, though, there is one school that has benefited most from Nick Saban leaving. Do you know what school that is?
Is it the Oregon Ducks?
No.
Ohio State.
Bingo.
Yeah. Ohio State, when Oregon has done a phenomenal job.
A lot of those guys went to Ohio State, key guys.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm saying, like, they're all kind of hired guns.
Yeah.
They were at Alabama because Nick Saban, I mean, he's the best. They put guys in the league. Well, okay, Saban's gone. Now what do we do? It's less about the school and more about the NFL for those elite guys. And now Ohio State got all kinds of dudes.
Yeah, there used to be this idea that, like, you couldn't imagine going to play for your rival, right? Me being a BYU guy, like, you don't go play for Utah or, you know, Kansas, right? You're not going to Missouri, Oregon, UW, and it's not a thing anymore. It's just
these
not.
Kids don't care.
They don't care. They especially when, you know, Muhammad only played 1 year at Washington, and it's just not a thing. So you really are going to a place, and I can't blame anyone. If you're asking me who has a better shot to win the Big Ten and play in the College Football Playoff next year, it's not UW right now. It's Oregon, and I know, you know, Washington has owned him the last couple of years, but I get where he's coming from, and you know, the NIL money at Oregon is better than it is at Washington, and you know, who knows what they put in front of him. So.
Well, Washington's lost 23 guys.
Yeah. Yeah, it hurts.
I saw that Washington was the first team in the playoff era to lose all 22 of their starters year over year.
Yeah, it's rough. Now, some of those guys have a couple of those guys have decided to come back. So they kept a couple quarterbacks. They kept a couple linemen.
Well,
so,
Rodgers is back there.
Yeah.
But he wasn't on the team.
He wasn't on the team.
Wasn't a starter
but
last
he entered the portal and came back. But that's not true because I know a couple of their linemen, their interior linemen.
Who had gone to the portal are now back?
Are back. I know at least one, and I think two have decided to come back. So they've done a better job of trying to keep retention.
Well,
but
when you get a coach, that helps.
Yes, you get a coach.
He can talk to them.
Yes.
But Washington, so the Saban effect, 53 coaches, 24 programs, 55 players, 23 players left Washington, 15 players left Alabama, which Kalen DeBoer's got to be feeling. I mean, that's not a great number.
Yeah.
But it's also not the worst number.
No.
And then Zona lost 13 players, and San Jose State, who their coach went to Arizona, they have lost 8 players. And that's just so far. I think they have until February 15th to enter.
Yeah, you got when your coach.
And then there's another portal in April.
Yeah, when your coach leaves, no matter when it is, you have 30 days. And the tricky part is that when your coach leaves after the portal is closed, then that you can leave, but no one else can come in. But yeah, after spring ball, then you get another portal, which is again why a lot of these coaches are pulling their hair out, because you have to recruit your guy, you have to recruit your own roster multiple times. And we're at the point now in this day and age that if you lose your coach, you're gonna get kicked in the giblets, which is why Michigan did their, Michigan had no choice. When Harbaugh was gonna leave, and they knew Harbaugh was gonna leave, they had no choice but to promote from within. It was the only way they could keep the enemies at the gate.
Well, maybe more schools will do that now.
It's possible. Yeah. I just think if you had to, I don't mind NIL, obviously, and I don't mind the transfer portal. It is what it is. The only thing I would say for the sake of college football is you just have to fix the timeline. You can't have free agency in the middle of your season. It's just it's
a mess right now.
That is dumb. If you streamlined this and you had it where there is a free agency period, which is what it is now, you in the NFL, hey, this is the window. This is when you can leave. After that, sorry, it is what it is. And eventually it needs to come to that, because you can't have it where, and we said this, and I know it's crazy, but Alabama and Washington did not win a national championship, and that stinks, right? They would have been better served for the future of their program to not make the college football playoff. Alabama and Washington were both punished for making the college football playoff, because had they not, DeBoer and Saban would have left, in theory, earlier.
Yeah.
And
you can hire your coach and keep your players.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's crazy that by going to that game and Washington going to two of them, actually winning their playoff game and playing, that ended up hurting Washington in the long run. Yeah. And
what a mess.
That's stupid.
Well, hey, that's a good segue. Coming up next in our College Football Friday fun bag, guess who's taken over for the NCAA? Somebody just stepped up and said, you know what, we'll handle this.
We got this.
We'll get to that next on The Fan.
Yeah. The home
and it's sort of not. It's kind of vague. So I don't know how big of a headline it is, but it is. I mean, to me, this is just another in a long line of examples of the authority shifting in college athletics. But the SEC and the Big Ten came out and said that they have formed a historic cooperative.
Remember when the Pac-12 did that?
I do.
The alliance then said, we don't need any contracts.
That's gone now, by the way.
Yeah, we don't need any contracts
boy,
being signed. But
while it was around,
yes,
the headway that they
it
made.
was dynamite.
I'm very confident.
Yeah. It's a joint advisory board, and it consists of SEC and Big Ten chancellors, presidents, and ADs. And their goal is to address the turmoil enveloping the college sports industry.
In case you didn't
In other
know,
words, move over, NCAA.
Yeah.
We're taking over.
we got this. And we all know that if you're not in the Big Ten or you're not in the SEC, dude, you're on the outskirts.
Well, now it does say here, this is from Ross Dellinger,
Yeah.
Yahoo. He said that they, it says the commissioners strongly rebuke any notion that the creation of this advisory board is a move toward a breakaway from the college sports governing body of the NCAA.
Yeah, hey, we're not doing that yet.
They remain prominent members of the NCAA.
Well, have you seen what's going on in Tennessee?
Yeah.
Boy.
Oh, yeah.
The Tennessee governor, the AD, a bunch of Tennessee state representatives, everyone that's affiliated with Tennessee in any way. I think Kenny Chesney's involved. Anyone involved in Tennessee is all rallying around and giving the NCAA the finger. The NCAA picked the wrong state to go after. Of all the programs that you could try. Yeah.
And maybe some representatives from the SEC, some representatives from the Big Ten, some representatives from, I don't know, the sky's the limit. It's just, I don't know. The NCAA is such a joke that it's almost like a void that somebody has to fill. And so the SEC and the Big Ten are looking around going, perfect. We'll step in.
Yeah, where were they're the only two players in college football that really matter.
Now, they do say they are going to consult other schools and leagues.
Yeah, ACC, we'll somewhat pay attention to you. Big 12, maybe.
All I know is that with everything going on, when I think college football, I think the thing we need is another committee.
Well, I would like to think that maybe they look into little old Portland, Oregon, because we do committees and task force better than just about anybody.
We can set quite the example.
Would you give it to one person? What would you do?
With everything going on in college football
what
right now?
would you do?
The number one thing that needs to happen is there needs to be a president. There has
one person.
And honestly, you know who I've heard thrown out many times?
Roger Goodell.
I don't think it would be a bad idea is Nick Saban.
Ooh.
Everyone respects Nick Saban. He's the GOAT of that. He has universal respect and clout.
Seems pretty reasonable.
And he does seem pretty reasonable. He's adapted. He hasn't been one of these guys that has stuck his head in the sand. If college football wanted to do something to better it and to actually get some structure to it, first and foremost, they need to hire some sort of commissioner. And I'm not saying that the commissioner needs to have, Roger Goodell, or Goodell, I believe it is. He doesn't have universal powers, but he is the head of it for the owners. And I'm not saying that you give a guy like Saban or, Andrew Luck's dad or whoever, I'm not saying you give them Barry Alvarez, you give them total control, but there has to be someone that can start to kind of rein this in, because look, if Tennessee, who is suing the NCAA now, not Tennessee, the school, the state of Tennessee, and I think Virginia, if I'm not mistaken, or maybe it's Carolina, one of the other states has joined in. The state of Tennessee,
Yeah, it's Virginia.
and Virginia have gotten together collective and have like, yeah, we're going to sue. And they're suing over
Goodell, Commissioner Goodell.
And they're suing over antitrust laws. And this is why the NCAA keeps getting their ass kicked.
Exactly.
And so if
it's over. The NCAA,
it's over.
It's just, they're just not even in the conversation
because
anymore.
if Tennessee wins this, then all the NIL rules,
Which they will.
Yeah, they will. All the NIL rules, which kind of exist right now, they go out the window, and then it just becomes pay for play. You can do whatever. There's no more pretending. Then just the Band-Aid gets ripped off, and I do think Tennessee's going to win. So at some point, you need to accept the fact that you lost the war, blow up the bridge, right, and then regroup on the other side. And
well, who are you talking about? The NCAA?
No, the schools.
Yeah, and that's what they're doing.
Schools, yes.
That's what they're doing.
That's
with
what the Big Ten and the SEC is attempting.
This says, while commissioners say their expressed goal is not secession, the creation of the joint board feels like something much more grandiose in the making. College football's two behemoths sharing ideas, plans, and models for the future.
Yes.
They're like essentially saying we're going to call the shots for
Yep,
everyone else eventually.
They're going to control it.
Yeah.
They're going to set it up for the future.
Well, they'll say this is what works for us, and everyone else will be like, well, we kind of want to be a part of that, so we'll follow suit.
Well, they won't have a choice.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. It's simply going to be, hey, this works for us. If you would like to be a part of it, join. And if you don't, I don't care, because no offense to anyone else. The
They don't need you.
The ACC, the Big 12, they don't. If the Big 10 and the SEC just gave everyone the bird right now, next year, and said, we're doing our own playoff, we're doing our own TV deal, I'm sorry, they dominate the landscape. Look, if we looked at the preseason top 25, because I know they already have one right now for college football coming up here. Let's play the fun game of where we sit. Because I'll bet you, so Georgia's one, Bama, Michigan, Texas, Mississippi, Notre Dame, so there's one outlier, although they would join. Oregon, Oklahoma, Ohio State, LSU, Clemson, so 2. Tennessee, Arizona, there's 3. Missouri.
Arizona.
Yeah, Arizona's in there for some reason. Well, they got the quarterback and the receiver coming back, and but that may change now with the coach thing. You just scroll down. Washington, Florida State's mixed in there, USC. I mean, 90% of the top 25 is the Big Ten and the SEC. And if this were to happen, Notre Dame and Clemson would come on board, and so would Florida State. They would do whatever to get in there. So they don't need the rest of college football. It'd be nice if they did. And my guess is eventually that's what happens is the Big Ten and the SEC appoint their little czar, and they say, look, we're going to do this. If anyone wants to come on board, you can be a part of this at a lesser level than they're not going to share the money the way they do with each other, but they'll allow you to kind of whoever wants to kind of play in their reindeer games, and that's how this is going to go.
So Sankey, the head of the SEC, said he left the door open for the group to grow, this new joint group.
There you go.
And he said, we can start it together, and I think it can populate itself outward, and we can draw people in and work in larger rooms. Yeah. But having been in a lot of larger rooms, we haven't seemed to make a lot of progress with bigger numbers. In other words, he's saying it's been a decades-long struggle.
And no one can get on board.
For the major conferences, because you have, college sports has 97 leagues.
Yep. There's too many cooks in the kitchen.
There are over 1,000 schools, and all of them have varying levels of resources and goals and missions. And it's just, and that's what Sankey's saying. It's like it's been impossible in those rooms.
Take a bunch of the voices out, whittle it down to the people who you think are essential.
That's right.
You figure it out, and then let everybody else follow suit.
And it's the way we've all known it's going. Yeah. It's just somebody's got to step up and take the lead. It's not going to be the NCAA. So the Big Ten and the SEC are like, we'll do it. Yep. And, that's probably outside of Nick Saban. Yep. That's probably the best path forward.
Yep. And one of these lawsuits is eventually going to go through and win, and then the NCAA will officially be dead.
Can't happen soon enough.
Nah, let's get on with it.
All right. Let's get on with it then. Jeez, yell at me.
Let's get to going.
We have one more question in our College Football Friday fun bag, and then John Harbaugh explains his game plan against the Chiefs.
I'm waiting to hear it.
Sort of. It's 4:01 on the Fan. to our second hour of radio broadcast. Coming up here on Football Friday. In the news, I have very big Terry Porter news today.
Oh, I didn't know there was big Terry Porter news.
Well, that's what you come to me for.
Yeah, that's why I have you.
We also have Joey Harrington coming on our show today at 5:30. And then,
Yeah, we'll see what happens.
from there, we'll have the club and the usual bit.
NHL skills competition going on right now. I know you're excited about
is
that.
it? Well, I was wondering,
Who is this, by the way?
the band there?
Glorious Sons? Anybody?
No, never heard of
Do
them.
we know who the Glorious Sons are?
So we have all 3 All-Star weekends in the next 2 weeks, basically. I mean, we have Pro Bowl this weekend, or Pro Bowl games.
Pro Bowl games.
NHL is this weekend, apparently.
You are correct. And then next week we got
Next weekend is the NBA.
Yeah.
Did you happen to hear the glorious audio that came out of this NHL All-Star Weekend already?
It's the greatest thing. Michael Bublé.
Yeah, we've got it if and when we want it.
Yeah, it's.
Well,
it's
let's play it.
it's
What are you
incredible.
talking about? I don't know what you're
So
talking
here's the scenario. They do one of those like celebrity games like they have, and so they have musicians and
Playing
other athletes
hockey?
come and play like pickup hockey
Yeah.
or some sort of a competition, and then they interview them like in a press conference afterwards. Will Arnett was the head coach of one of these teams.
God, I love him.
And Michael Bublé is an avid hockey player, plays fantasy hockey, he plays pickup hockey, and here's what he sounded like at the podium.
The answer is no. I will not be the oldest draft pick the Vancouver Canucks have ever taken at 48 years old. I know you and you. You're a really good hockey. You got good hands, dude. You've got silky mitts, my brother.
You are the first person who's ever told me that.
Because I'm the first real ever hockey fan. My buddy told me this is just a microdose of mushrooms, and he was lying. So I'll be honest, I thought I was in Blades of Glory for most of the time that I was out there until it sort of settled down, and then I realized, holy I'm at the NHL All-Star Game. We live.
God bless Michael
Yeah,
Bublé.
Bublé, not taking a microdose, but a full dose of mushrooms before the event.
We've all been there.
That is fantastic.
Yeah.
I have not been there.
Tripping ball. Then you're missing out because let me tell you something.
I've never even been ice skating. Ever.
Well, I just say, as a fungi enthusiast myself from time to time, if you've ever partaken in mushrooms on a somewhat regular basis, we've all done it where you take a little more than what was intended and
the snozberries taste like snozberries.
It happens.
How great is Michael Bublé? That is fantastic.
Yeah, it's the best thing to come out of an All-Star game ever.
And there's more audio, like we don't have it, but there's minutes out there of him rambling about his fantasy league and stuff that no one understands or cares about because he's just all high as a kite.
Hi, that is great. And he kind of talks a little bit like a...
Well, he's Canadian.
Well, I know, but he kind of talks, it sounds a little bit like he's talking like a 1950s, like, like a, kind of like a crooner would talk.
The answer is no.
The answer is no.
I will not be the oldest draft pick
It sounds like
the Vancouver Canucks have ever taken.
It sounds like Judge Smales.
I know you and you.
Well,
dude, that is great. I want more high Michael Bublé.
I'll find some more and see if we can dump it in the system.
yeah, it's just you gotta be careful. And
Right.
when someone says, "Hey, it's a microdose," just be aware that it
Well, that dude is laughing his ass off. Like, watch this. Bublé's about to play in the NHL celebrity game. I'm going to tell him it's a microdose.
Boy, I'll tell you what. If you do that, that's dirty pool. That is.
I don't think it is. I think it's great.
That's dirty pool. Yeah.
Especially knowing he's going up at the podium,
Gosh, yeah. When you do that in a public place, like most of the time, if you're doing mushrooms, that's what's for the woods, like your backyard. I did them at Disney and it didn't end. That's when I had to run out of the Muppet 3D adventure because I got freaked out. Like it happens. You got to be real careful when you take them in public space. Take them in public spaces. It can go sideways on you.
All right. The last question from the College Football Friday Fun Bag is this: if Kirby Smart is now the best coach in college football with the retirement of Nick Saban and Jim Harbaugh.
And it does feel like that.
Well, Harbaugh leaving.
Yeah, that kind of feels like a universal.
Yeah. I mean, it's probably Kirby. Like, if I said who's the best coach in college football now,
yeah.
I mean, it's got to be Kirby Smart, right?
Yes.
Who's number 2?
Well, it's weird in that it should be Dabo. I mean, what he did.
But it's not.
But it's not. And it's weird how quickly that has gone away. But I mean, if you would have asked this question 5 years ago, it wasn't Kirby Smart, it was Dabo. Dabo was that next guy. And I think clearly he has fallen off. He's fallen off. And, I know Lanning gets put in a lot of categories, but I always ask, like, what has Lanning won?
Yeah, he hasn't done enough yet.
He hasn't done anything.
Does DeBoer get in there? I mean,
I don't.
All he does is win.
All he does is win, but again, he's done it 2 years at the highest level.
So that's a no?
I think, I know this is going to sound crazy.
Uh-oh.
I think it might be Kyle Whittingham.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And I know he hasn't won championships, but if you asked me, just you didn't say who's the best program builder, who's been the most successful. You asked me who the best coach is. I think it's Kyle Whittingham. I really do. And then after that, I think it's a bunch of dudes mixed in there. I think you can throw in, Dabo should be in there. I think Brian Kelly's a very good coach. I think Mike Gundy's a very good coach. I think James Franklin's a very good coach. But, of people that have won national championships outside of Kirby, Dabo, Jimbo's not coaching anymore.
That might be it.
I'm trying to think of anyone else. Mac Brown's still around, right? He's still in Carolina, but Mac's not, he's not there. So I think it is more open than you realize when you start looking through there, which is why if I'm saying if that list is Dabo, Kelly, Gundy, James Franklin, Lane Kiffin.
See, I think it might be Kelly.
Yeah.
Brian Kelly. And I hate to say that because he's an ass, but
yeah.
It's either him or maybe Ryan Day.
And yet
Ryan Day is really good.
And yet they're trying to run Ryan Day out of Ohio State.
Well, he's got to. I mean, you do have to beat your rival. I mean, Ohio State has, major expectations, but Ryan Day is really good.
I mean, Jim Harbaugh didn't beat his rival for like 4 or 5 years.
That's
and then
right.
He stuck around and
he won a title.
title.
Exactly.
But that's crazy. They were trying to run Jim Harbaugh out of town too.
Yes, they were.
They made him take a pay cut.
But then he won a title.
Then he won a title.
I think Ryan Day is fully capable of winning a title.
Yeah.
So I think Ryan Day is top. He's top 3-4 coach.
Do you put Sark in there? Do you put again?
I'm not as in love with Sark as everyone else.
I'm not necessarily either, and I know it's weird because it's only been 2 years. But if most people have Dan Lanning in the top 10, and if Dan Lanning's in the top 10, then Caleb DeBoer is in the top 5 or 6 because he's beat him 3 times.
Yeah,
he's actually won the conference.
I hate to say this, but I think DeBoer's probably a top 5 coach. Yeah. He probably is.
Well, again, if we're just saying, if we're saying Smart, Kelly. I put Whittingham. After that, I think everything is open to interpretation. Does Norvell get in there with Florida State?
He's good. I don't know if he's top 5, but he's good.
Yeah, that's an interesting question. I hadn't thought about that, but it does feel like it's pretty open. And if Ryan Day is a top 7 or 8 coach, or some people think a top 5, crazy to think if he does not beat Michigan this year with Moore and with the exit of Harbaugh. I think Ryan Day, who, by the way, take a look at Ryan Day. He's turning into Steven Seagal, and it's really weird.
Yeah.
It's the beard and the hair and like the widow's peak. He's got weird late Seagal vibes, and it's creeping me out. If Day gets beat by Michigan this year, I think Ohio State pulls the trigger on him. I think they fire his ass, which is crazy.
The text line yelling at us Lincoln Riley over and over again.
Oh, there you go. And yet,
really?
even that, a lot of the
I'm not saying they're right. I'm just saying that's come in a lot.
Well, before USC, Lincoln Riley absolutely would have been thought that.
Well, he's certainly accomplished a lot.
Yeah, and then after the 2 USC years, everyone's kind of like,
yeah, I don't know.
It's so fickle. It really
Kirk
is.
Ferentz deserves consideration for what he's achieved with his son's offense.
Yeah.
Go ahead and climb out of my ass for a while.
Kiffin.
Yeah.
He's good.
Yeah, I think Lane's better than a lot of people.
What an exciting time.
And yet I don't think he gets the love. Like if I was Ohio, or if I was like Alabama, I thought Lane Kiffin made a lot of sense. But, you can't argue with DeBoer. Everywhere he's been, dude wins.
All right. We're going to have to put a wrap on college football talk, okay?
All right.
We got to get to John Harbaugh. Now, you have been baffled and puzzled and stymied.
I can't figure it out.
It's the dadgum mistake.
It's a dadgummit thing.
It haunts me.
You've been thinking about it all week, what John Harbaugh, what his game plan, him and Todd Monken's game plan was against the Chiefs.
Yep.
Well, today, John Harbaugh had his final press conference in Baltimore before they go on vacation.
Yeah, before they shut it down.
And I'll tell you what he said, and we'll see if it's satisfactory.
All right.
Because that was the first question he was asked.
Thank God.
Like,
someone
what the
asked.
hell?
That would have been my question. Excuse me,
What the
John, I got a question for you. What the hell? And I think he would have known what I was talking about.
Everybody in the room would have. Yeah. So that's next on The Fan.
What the f*** are you talking about, man?
The Fan is on in your home and where you work.
It's just us and no one else.
Did Porter, Blazers legend, is selling his mansion and everything must go. That story next on In the News. First, John Harbaugh had his final press conference in Baltimore.
Yeah, the exit interviews and whatnot.
Yeah, seems a little late.
Yeah, it's usually just the next day.
I don't know what they were. Yeah, I don't know what they were doing all week.
No,
but
trying to come up with an answer for what the hell.
So the first question that was asked to him was, what the hell was that? What was your offensive approach?
Yeah.
against the Chiefs. So I'll just read this to you. This is from Pro Football Talk.
Yeah.
The team's running backs only ran the ball 6 times in the game, and they only had 16 rushing attempts as a team, which has led to a fair amount of criticism of their game plan. On Friday, Harbaugh noted that the team had RPOs and other plays that could be runs or passes depending on how the Chiefs lined up, and that Kansas City's early offensive success limited their time of possession while forcing them to play from behind. While that provides some explanation for the approach, Harbaugh went on to say that, quote, sometimes you need to be willing to get big and run the ball, end quote, because the way things played out is, quote, not going to win an AFC championship game, end quote.
I would like to point out that in no way does that satisfy me at all. And it's the same crap. That falls in line with what he said right after the game was sometimes those games just happen.
They
don't.
Do you think they put too much, what would be the word? Control in Lamar? Because maybe Lamar, a lot of those RPOs.
That's the only thing I can think of. But you would think at some point.
And I will say, I'm sorry, but one thing that I said the day after the game that I think is shockingly low of a number is that at 7 minutes left in the third quarter of that game, Baltimore had run 25 plays.
Yes,
that is shockingly low.
Yeah.
So he's right about the time of possession thing.
Yeah, but allow me to counterpoint, Mr. Harbaugh. So you've been seeing 8-man boxes all year. And by the way, I looked. Kansas City's not running 9-man boxes. No one does, unless there's no passing game whatsoever. You don't do that. Kansas City was running 7 and 8-man boxes, which the Ravens have been seeing all year. So I asked the question that when your running backs have been getting 26 plus carries every game against stacked boxes, why exactly in this situation with RPOs and that you decided that, according to Lamar Jackson, that you couldn't hand the ball off? And the first 2 times that you did run the ball, you ran for 15 and 26 yards a pop. It makes no sense. And by the way, if you allowed Kansas City to dictate whether you ran or pass, you got out coached. You look like a bunch of schmucks. That's a top 3 pass defense. You can tell I'm upset about this still, and not like I bet on it. You're a top 3 defense in the passing game, and you're the 28th best run defense. You think maybe you wanted them to throw the ball? You think perhaps? And Baltimore just accepted that? Baltimore just accepted. And by the way, how does that account for the fact that you ran power G twice again in the first quarter and got 40 yards on those 2 carries and never ran that play again?
The way I look at it is I think what he's saying makes sense to a point. He is saying, okay, here's the way the game played out. We did not have the ball much. Yeah. When we did, we had some RPOs. We chose to throw. Yeah. Okay. And that's fair because they did only run 25 plays.
Yeah.
Where my biggest criticism is once you got into the fourth quarter,
and it was a close game,
and we're way beyond the 25 plays, they're now starting to get more possessions because their defense is getting the ball back from Kansas City.
Yep.
They still didn't run it.
Nope.
And they had every opportunity, every one of those drives to kind of, okay, we're still in this. Let's reset. Let's go back to the run game, and they just never did.
Yeah.
I get how Kansas City maybe got them discombobulated early and Jackson as well. But after halftime and then certainly in the fourth quarter, man, that's where it's like, dude, we're not watching the same game.
When you face some adversity early on like they did, almost the universal thing in football is how do you settle a team down? And by the way, Kansas City's moving up and down the field almost in the first half. Your defense is struggling. How do you settle that down and make sure that your defense has a chance to breathe? You run the ball. Let me also point out the fact that San Francisco was down by a lot more than what Baltimore was down. And what did San Francisco keep doing? Run the ball. When you are predicated on play action pass, like Baltimore is, like San Francisco is, when you take away the play action and you just tell the other team, we're not going to run the ball, it makes you one-dimensional. And you're not very good at that dimension. Lamar Jackson isn't a bad thrower of the football, but he's not a guy that's going to stand back there and pick you apart. And yet on early downs, now if you want to say 3rd and 6, sure, throw the ball all you want. But especially in the first half, 70% of the time on first down, you threw the ball. That's inexcusable. It's inexcusable. And Harbaugh even said it where he said that's not going to win championship games.
Yeah.
They got out coached.
Here's his last quote. He says, quote, "When you look at the way the game played out, you can understand it from a football perspective, but once you get through all of that, you come back, you want to run the ball against the Chiefs. There's no doubt about it, and we did want to run the ball against the Chiefs. We weren't able to get to it." End quote.
And
that's all I have. That's all he said.
We weren't able to get to it. Yes, you were. You just didn't. And that's my thing. I can live with if you tried to run the ball 25 times and early in the game and it wasn't working. They just were throwing the kitchen sink at you. Offensive line wasn't working. There just weren't holes. I can live with that. You never tried. And when you did try early, you had success. It is just the damnedest thing. The only thing I can think of is they were convinced that their quarterback was good enough to just say, screw it. We're gonna show you different than what we've done all year. We know you're gonna try to load up on the run and watch this. And it didn't work and it got away from them and they were too stubborn or too stupid to go back to it. It is the most egregious game plan and execution of a plan that I've seen in the 20 years of doing this.
All right. Terry Porter would like you to buy his underwear.
Oh, I don't think it's going to fit. He seems a little small.
Big guy.
Yeah.
So that is next. Here's Buck with SportsCenter.
This is a football
right along here on a big Friday program. It is February 2nd, 2024. It is time now on our show for In the News. I'm your noted newsman. Hello, thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you, America. Please be seated, ladies. It is Tater Tot Day.
Love a good tot. You not so much.
No, I love tots. I don't hold any ill will towards tots.
Unless they nearly kill you.
You're not traumatized?
No, it's a freak thing. For those who don't know, I almost died via tater tot. I choked on one in a restaurant. Not even
Closest
kidding.
you've ever been to death, you think?
Dude, it was not good.
It was dicey.
It was hairy.
Yeah.
Do you think it's the closest you've ever been to death?
Yes. Well, I mean, it's hard to know.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean,
Probably.
consciously, yeah. I mean, I was looking at the floor going,
This can't be how it happens.
that's where I'm dying. By the way, I was having a drink with a buddy the other night, and he told me that he related to my tater tot story because he had a near-death experience. Do you care to guess what he choked on?
Carrot.
Grape.
Advil.
Oh, that seems rather...
What? How do you
Yes.
Pretty small.
How do you choke
Well,
on Advil?
he didn't. So it's less choking, but it went down his. It went in his
Windpipe.
trachea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a little flap that goes
Yeah.
on there, you know.
It went down the wrong pipe.
Yeah.
So he said that he started. He was, God, this is weird, and he started getting lightheaded,
Yeah.
and then he kind of felt it shift.
Oh, boy.
He had two of them.
Yeah.
And he felt it shift, and then all of a sudden he couldn't breathe.
Oh, boy.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Start feeling the pain. And
Yeah. And so he said well, long story short, he heaved one out. He through the Heimlich.
Huh.
Heaved one out. The other one stayed in there. And then, of course you go to WebMD, right?
Yeah.
It's like, oh, dude, how do I get
Yeah.
that is no joke. Like, because those things can get into your lungs.
So you just let it dissolve or what?
Well, you do. Yeah, there's nothing you could do.
Yeah.
And so he, I don't know what he ended up doing, but he didn't. I mean, he could breathe better.
Yeah.
Once the first one was up,
Yeah.
but the second one just, I guess I don't know what happened to it.
That happened to me with a gobstopper in middle school. It was terrifying.
You have a gobstopper chilling in your lungs?
It got stuck like right at the top of the trachea there, and I could feel it there wedged, and I could still kind of breathe through it. My breathing was like cut off partially though.
Well, but isn't that your esophagus though? Like, it's going down the right tube, it just gets stuck. That's different. That's what happened to me.
Yeah.
That's what happened
This
to me too.
went down
This went all the way
trachea.
down?
Yeah,
The trachea.
there's a little flap that goes back and forth, and sometimes
Yeah.
if it goes the other way. Well, and
I'm surprised that it doesn't happen more often. That
Well-
people, and it does. Like, every once in a while you swallow water
Yeah.
or whatever, and
Yeah,
it gets the wrong pipe. But I'm surprised it doesn't happen more often that stuff goes down the wrong tubey.
Advil. Yeah, well, I mean,
Yeah.
the body's not supposed to let that happen. That's why
Exactly. So how does that's what's interesting is
I
that
don't know.
it does a pretty good job of making
Yeah.
sure that doesn't happen. How does that happen?
couldn't tell you.
What did he do?
Probably screwed something up. It's his fault.
What's the matter with his flap?
Well, and it was sad, but I didn't say anything, but like 2 or 3 weeks after you had your tater tot thing, someone called me up, and I did not be like, hey, Rob almost died of a tater tot, but a guy that I went to church with choked on a piece of steak in his hotel room, and they found him the next day.
And I think you guys have mentioned this, but they often say that a lot of people die alone choking
Correct.
because they go to the bathroom out of
Correct.
embarrassment.
Correct. Yep, that's exactly what happens. So when you're choking,
Stay in the dining room.
Yeah, don't do that.
Yeah.
Alert people.
Yes.
And they'll help you out.
Yeah.
That's your best chance. Or if you're by yourself,
Chair Heimlich.
the chair. Yep. You got to throw your sternum onto the back of a chair.
Yep.
Hard.
Yeah.
And it's going to hurt.
Yeah.
But hopefully you.
Better to break a rib than it is to
Yeah.
choke and die.
It is also Groundhog Day.
Really?
Punks Phil. Yeah, you didn't know that?
I didn't know. Normally that's all over the news.
It is all over.
I
the
didn't
news.
Yeah, I
see
saw it
it.
all over Twitter today. This year it seemed like they were running the sabermetrics on Punxsutawney Phil.
Yeah. Yeah. Phil is losing us money.
Yeah.
I
Freaking
saw that
Phil.
Phil's horrible.
His hit percentage is just under 40% since 2013. You are not winning money with
Phil.
punks.
Well,
But
the
today
hashtag fade Phil.
Is that what it is?
Well, I mean, why wouldn't you? If he's hitting less than 40%, I'm fading Phil.
So
I've
he-
seen baseball enthusiasts say it would get him into the Hall of Fame, though, hitting 390.
It's true.
So he did not see his shadow, which means an early spring. Therefore,
buckle
based
up.
on his percentage,
Crappy track
it's
record.
the other way, right?
So we got a 61% chance of 6 more weeks of winter.
Right.
Freaking A.
All
Going
right.
to Mexico.
I have big Terry Porter news. This is big, guys.
Yeah.
Did you guys see this yet?
Well, he's selling his underwear.
Terry Porter has sold his mansion. Of course, former Blazer Terry Porter.
Blazer great, Milwaukee Buck great, San Antonio Spur great,
University of Portland
great.
great.
He went to
With a coach.
school in Wisconsin, right?
I don't know. He has sold his Dunthorpe residence, his mansion, 5,868 square feet.
By the way, Dunthorpe just sounds like it has mansions.
Oh, it does.
It sounds prestigious.
Dunthorpe.
Dunthorpe is nice.
Yes.
And so beginning tomorrow and Sunday, everything in the house is going to have a price tag, and anybody can go buy his stuff.
Yeah, it's just an estate sale. Is Terry struggling, or is this just he wants to clean?
No, I'm guessing. See, this to me is genius. One, you're Terry Porter, so you know a lot of people are going to want your stuff.
Yeah.
But two, can you imagine? So they've lived there 10 years, or 15 years. And there are thousands of items in there. I'm guessing it's one of those things. My wife and I went through this because, we're very rich and we have a, 15-year, 5,868 square foot mansion.
Yes.
Downsizing is great and getting rid of things is great. But can you imagine the dread of having to move all that? He's rich enough that he's probably just like, and he and his wife are probably like, you know what, let's just get furniture at our new, who knows where they're going? Maybe they're going south or something. I don't know. But I don't know. I just think this is going to happen more and more. Particularly with people that have a lot of stuff, is they're not going to take a lot of stuff with them when they move. They just sell it.
Yeah.
Or just sell it with the house.
And by the way, everything. They've got
everything.
On, I was Oregon Live or KGW, I forget. Like, they have photos. You can buy Terry Porter's Instapot. You can buy Terry Porter's Zester.
Yes.
He's got a bunch of, I'm trying to remember, there were bobbleheads, and not like nice bobbleheads, like random bobbleheads. So
they're saying his most desired professional memorabilia and game-worn gear are going with him. He is taking a lot of that stuff with him.
Sure.
Outside of that, they said everything is going to have a price tag on it. Like there's 10,000 items.
Yeah.
Tiffany jewelry, Tiffany & Company jewelry, crystal, Nike shoes. My God. And it's all listed here.
Yeah, dude. And like I said, there's
even a car.
There was like 90 photos on Oregon Live that has it. It's honestly, and I'm not trying to, it just looks like a big garage sale.
Well, that's what it is.
Yeah, I know. But you would think with Terry Porter, I think people are going to assume that this is super, it just looks like a garage sale. No offense, but.
So they said the address of the estate will be disclosed at 9 a.m. tomorrow.
First come, first serve.
At pdxestateservices.com. Front doors open at 11 on Saturday and close at 4. And on Sunday, they're doing noon to 4. It is first come, first serve. There will be a limited number of people allowed in at one time, and the flow will depend on how quickly people come in and out. All but one room will have items for sale, from rugs on the floor to art on the walls. Yeah. No registration is needed. All items have a price tag that is asking less than retail. There is a $22,000 Italian chandelier in the dining room.
Very nice.
They have priced at $4,800.
Now, is any of this like a garage sale negotiable, or is the price the price?
Aha. This says there will be no negotiating on the first day.
Oh.
On Sunday, everything remaining that is priced $100 and less will be 50% off.
Okay.
If an item priced over $100 doesn't sell for the full price on Sunday, lower offers will be reviewed, and the highest bidder will be notified that afternoon.
All right.
Man, they're dialed in here.
Well, when I'm looking, do you want a Dwayne Wade Marquette bobblehead doll?
I do not.
Well, that's my point is there's a bunch of crap at these sales that never sells. Why would anyone buy a Dwayne Wade Marquette bobblehead? Because
it's Terry Porter's.
Yes, you don't. You're looking at it through your lens. Why would anybody buy any crap at any garage sale? It's because one man's crap is another man's treasure. Isn't that the whole saying?
Yeah, but so would you buy a Dwayne Wade bobblehead just because Terry Porter owned it?
Me, no, but someone yes.
Would?
Yes, of course.
All right.
That's part of why it's genius what he's doing. He knows he's Terry Porter. He knows he's got a bunch of fans that are going to go and swoop up his stuff. Give him a bunch of money for crap he doesn't want.
I'm intrigued to go on Sunday.
It's brilliant.
And just see what's sold.
You're going to go, aren't you?
I kind of want to go.
You're going to go.
And I'm not going to buy anything. I just want to see.
I bet you do.
No.
I bet you stroll through that house and go, ooh.
I just want to see. I can't believe this stuff's going to sell.
I also am interested in what the turnout's going to be like. Is it going to be dozens of people?
Packed.
Is it going to be hundreds of people?
Hundreds.
You think so?
Yes.
Multiple? You think 200 people?
Yes.
I'm fascinated
Yes.
by
And then also the people watching will be fantastic. What type of people?
Yeah. Well, there'll be a lot of looky-loos. Now, I would say that...
It's a lot of golf equipment, Rob.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Just saying.
See, I think if you strolled through there, you'd be like, ooh. You'd pick up something.
I'm going to buy an extension.
You love a good deal.
I'm going to buy an extension cord because it was Terry Porter's extension cord?
No, but you're going to find something that you like and want. And you'd be like, oh, man, I've been shopping for
Although
that.
I do like that concept where you're basically like, well, I mean, if I'm going to have to buy a toilet plunger anyways, it might as well have a cool story behind it. This belonged to Terry Porter. Got his turds out of there.
That's another thing. People are going to love to buy things and tell everybody that they know.
Yeah, like mundane things. I kind of like,
See that blender right there?
Whatever,
that blender was Terry Porter's.
I'm going. I want to wander through this. I'm going to see what's the most obscure thing I could buy. There's a puka shell necklace that I see here. Yeah, there's a puka shell necklace on here.
Where's Adam Bjornson when you need him?
Exactly. Maybe I'll buy it for old Banana
So
Fingers
this says,
himself.
highlights of the estate sale include men's and women's luxury fashion and designer clothing from Saks Fifth Avenue and other high-end shops, sporting goods, especially golf gear, worn Nike, Adidas, and Converse athletic shoes, housewares, kitchen items, and electronics, quality and name brand furniture, selected by Porter's wife, Suze, who's an interior designer with incredible taste, it says here.
Did you mention you could buy his car on here?
Yep. There's a 2020 Mercedes-Benz E-Class E450, not owned by Porter, and with about 24,000 miles on it.
Why is it?
And new tires, apparently.
It will be offered at a minimum bid of $60,000.
What? Who is going to this and being like dropping 60 G's on a Mercedes?
Art, signed books, and other original work by Black artists and authors, such as a hardback copy of Secrets of the Negro Baseball League by former player Dennis Biddle.
Okay.
Handmade ceramics, figurines, and other decor accessories.
Gotta give me some of that. I got a crisp $20 bill in my pocket. I'm gonna go there and see what I can get for $19, Terry.
How about this? There is a whimsical Easter Bunny-shaped Arthur Court design wine bottle cooler.
Well, I mean, why wouldn't I want that? What's that going for? I do like whimsy.
And a must-have for entertaining in the Northwest.
That's right. And there are retired patterns of Mackenzie Childs used. There are retired patterns of Mackenzie Childs used in napkin rings and Christmas things. Now it's getting more and more vague.
Yeah.
And tons of Fitz and Floyd holiday collections.
I will also tell you that according to my research, there is a Scott Pollard bobblehead as well.
Did you see any of the golf gear in there?
Yeah, but it's hard to some of the stuff they didn't zoom in well. It's just like in the garage amongst the box of extension cords, there's like big like stacks of golf clubs that are just leaned against the wall.
Yeah, but they're all probably fitted to him though.
Probably. But I bet you they're nice stuff.
He's tall. Can't use that.
Yeah, they're all that looks like there's like 6 sets that are all taped together.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You gonna bid on his Terry Porter's Playboy collection?
Terry Porter has a Playboy collection?
Well, I'm sure he does.
I would hope so.
What man doesn't?
Yeah, he
said everything must go.
He's an old school guy.
That's right.
All right. Yeah, maybe I'll go buy some classic Euro porn.
Well, anyway, that's tomorrow and Sunday. And I'm telling you, that's a good idea.
I'm going Sunday so that I can wheel and deal.
You're going to go, and I guarantee you're going to buy something.
We're going to see what happens. I'll report back on Monday because I had nothing to do this weekend. And
I'm putting it in my notes to follow up on this.
I'm going to check this son of a gun out.
I bet you don't get in.
You're telling me there's going to be a
dude?
No
I
way.
bet you don't get in.
No way.
I bet you that parking. First of all, parking's going to be a nightmare. It's in Dunthorpe. You ever been up there?
No, not really.
And you're not allowed to park in the driveway.
I have 2 mansions up there. It's a nightmare. And yeah, you can't park in the driveway.
Nah, man. MIR says that he's got a friend that lives 2 houses down from Terry Porter. I'm going to park there.
Oh,
I got an in. I'm going to park there and I'm going to swing on over.
You could copter in.
I'm getting in.
I bet you don't stand in line. You won't do it.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie. If there
It's going to be a line.
If there is a line, I'm out.
I may be wrong.
Is there a burger place around there that I can ditch? Because I'm not waiting in the line.
I may be wrong, but I think this is going to be wildly popular and successful.
I'm going the other way. And
you think it's not?
When I show up on Sunday, I'm going to say there's no line. And when I go in there, 75% of the stuff is still there.
Texter makes a good point. 100 random people will show up to a garage sale on a Saturday. 500 people are going to show up to this.
No question.
I kind of agree with that too.
It's going to be
a 5 hour window for a garage sale. You're getting 100 people.
It's going to be a zoo.
Yeah.
They know what they're doing. These people do this all the time. The company he hired to put this out there. Andy's Terry freaking Porter.
Well, we'll
the
see.
city loves him. There's going to be so many bozos that show up there thinking they're going to see Terry Porter. He's probably already in California.
We're going to see Terry Porter's puka shell necklace, although someone in on the Vancouver Ford text line saying I gave it away. We're now in a bidding war for that puka shell necklace. Someone's going to buy a puka shell necklace because it was Terry. I don't buy it.
It's going to be you.
It's crap.
Stocking stuffer for your favorite Blazers fan.
That's
I'm going
right.
to buy it for Danny.
Yeah, didn't wear it.
Yes.
Boy.
Good stuff.
This is something else.
All right. We got to go. Raise your hand or honk your horn if you've ever been to Flora Spa in Lake O.
Not me.
Okay, me neither. That's next on The Fan.
We like threesomes.
The answer is always yes, and it's a wonderful lifestyle.
1080 The Fan invites you to play in the first annual Fan Winter Golf Classic at X Golf Tualatin and X Golf Vancouver, Tuesday, February 27th.
More story here on In the News, Feb 2, 2024. I was asking you if you've ever been to Flora Spa in Lake O.
Have you looked at me? What about me says Flora Spa, Lake Oswego?
I mean, I don't know.
Spas are delightful. I think
Yeah.
you'd enjoy.
Everybody loves a good spa.
And you've had like a pedicure before, right?
Yeah, come on, man.
No.
No? Okay.
No.
And you like
no,
Asians?
no. I've never had a manicure. I've had pedicures.
I think you'd enjoy a spa treatment.
I do like Asians. Is this an Asian place?
It is. And
What kind of Asian place?
well,
Is this a Robert Kraft sort of situation?
Well,
Orchids of Asia. I think that was his spot.
This.
Could you give me the address so I know how to not go there?
So it's right across from Starbucks on Boone's Ferry in Lake O. So it's just off of Cruise Way.
Ooh, there's a good teriyaki spot right there that I like to go to.
It has been busted for sex trafficking.
Rat farts.
Yeah.
That's the bad kind of sex. You can't do the trafficking.
Multiple people were arrested. It's a long-term investigation into this spa. Authorities said it was a front for human sex trafficking and a network of human sex traffickers. The 2 women in charge were arrested, Zhao Ping Chen and Lahua Lin Kelsey, on charges that include promoting prostitution.
They give Asian massage parlors a bad name, and that's just it's not okay.
During the investigation, police said they discovered the spa and multiple people were involved in a multi-jurisdictional trafficking operation with suspects across multiple states.
Ooh, so we got the feds.
The feds. Yeah, this is a big one. Right there on freaking Boone's Ferry.
I know, that seems more like an 82nd Avenue sort of thing, to be honest with you. I wouldn't necessarily think that, it would creep into Lake O, but let me just say this. Lake O has perverts too.
Yeah, text line realizing this, the Kelsey brothers are involved, or at least the Kelsey family.
What?
You said one of the people's name was Kelsey. Last name was Kelsey.
Oh.
That's what you read.
Yeah. Well, it's spelled different, but yes.
Well, my ears perked up and so did the text line. So
we're like, whoa. Hey.
Kelsey.
There you go.
Yeah. But anyway, well, there are perverts everywhere. Let's just be fair about that.
Well, I mean, you think that the rich, when Robert Kraft got busted, that's all you need to know about how widespread the massage parlor situation is. Robert Kraft is worth what, $4 billion? And
is that all?
Yeah, whatever he's worth, I don't know. He's a billionaire several times over. Robert Kraft was going to what?
11.1.
Yeah. Boy, yeah. So if you want to ask who goes to those places, lots of people, including someone that's worth $11 billion.
How do you know? Help me out on this one. If you go to these, there's nothing wrong with services. But how do you know about the trafficking part?
You don't.
That's the thing. Like, there's a lot of dudes that are going, "Oh my God, I got a handy at Flora, and now I'm freaking out."
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like, how do you know that?
I don't know how you know. I mean,
you wouldn't. You're just taking that risk when you do it, I guess.
Is that right?
It's like buying.
Well, that's a risk not worth taking.
It's like buying a diamond.
I'm guessing most don't think about that risk.
Do you know that you're buying a conflict-free diamond when you buy a pair of shoes, or like those sweatshop shoes? You don't know.
You mostly just think that diamond looks nice, and you're going to choose to not think about it.
Yeah, you're rolling the dice, and
wow.
You're like,
but then it implicates you, doesn't it?
Not if you want to go plead negligence. I didn't know.
Well, I guess Kraft got off, but he's got a bunch of money.
Yeah.
Well, he got off a couple different ways.
Yeah.
But
and maybe if the people didn't know, then it's on the business and the people who are making the.
Yeah. If you're a John in one of those places,
and you don't know that
and you don't, I don't know. They're not going after you. They're going after the syndicate.
No. And by the way, if you're going in there and you're like paying with a credit card or whatever, it's on you. That's on you, buddy. You need a hat down low and straight cash. Like, what?
Is that how that works?
I think that's how that works. Brother, that's on you. Whoops.
Well, they've shut it down.
Yes. Yeah. There's one of those right by where I get my beard trimmed, and the best part about it.
Now, when you say one of those, what do you mean?
It's
because not every one of those is an operation for sex trafficking.
No. I'm not saying it's a trafficking operation. I'm just saying.
What are you saying?
I know what goes on at that place.
A little rub and tug. Yeah. A little. And how's your father?
Yeah. So it's right by. It's right by a restaurant, and it's right by where I get my beard trimmed. And the best part, the hands down the best part, is the incognito way that dudes try to slip into that place. Because you'll park, and it's like a little strip mall area. It's right by my house. And watching the guys kind of do the dun, just hanging out on the
looking like it's a wander and then kind of a slip in.
Don't mind me. And you can sit there and kind of look at them, and they're like, no, I'm not going to make it. And the moment you turn your back,
they're gone. Ducked in the door.
No one. I've seen 20 people walk into that place over the years. I've never seen anyone walk in there with any sort of confidence or like, oh yeah, I'm going in here. No. It's a spy versus spy, collar up, fedora on, hunched over, kind of doing a sideways shuffle.
That shouldn't be.
Nah, I just, own it.
Yes.
Own it.
Well, I mean, yeah.
And yes to the person who's saying the text line knows exactly the place at which I'm talking about. And it is very clear.
I now know of one as well.
Yeah.
It's in Beaverton.
Yeah. Dude, there's lots of them. I
only know because somebody told me.
Yes, of course. My daughter once asked me, we were walking in downtown Vancouver, BC, not Vancouver, Washington. We were walking, and it was after a Canucks game, and it was like 11:30, 11:45. We were walking back to the hotel. Big light up massage place. And she looks at me and goes, Dad, what sort of massage is open at 11:30?
Tell you what kind, honey.
I was like, well, this is time to have that conversation.
Here's somebody who says they work at the Clackamas Court. In this case that we're talking about is the hot topic out there.
Yeah.
I bet. Yeah, it's a big operation.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Well, like the trafficking thing is a big deal. When I got a buddy of mine who's a cop, and when you go and like ride-alongs, there is in his precinct there is an entire division for human trafficking.
Yeah.
But I also think when it comes to a place like Lake Oswego, there's probably a little more pearl clutching and excitement about it too.
Yeah, it's like in Westland when that van was caught driving around.
Right, and it was an Amazon driver.
Yeah, it was an Amazon driver.
But some girl got scared.
Yeah, because it was a van. Yeah, we don't allow vans here. We deliver our packages in an Escalade, for God's sakes.
All right, that's in the news. Feb 2, 2024. The Hot 5 at 5 is next on The Fan.
Big Souk here for the Big Ford Store, Vancouver Ford. Locally owned and #1 in customer service for, get this, the 7th straight year. Their certified staff is ready to get you in the ride you're looking for. Vancouver Ford isn't just my hometown dealer, it's the dealer I send my family and friends to because I know they're going to be well taken care of and you won't find a better deal, period. Vancouver Ford is proud to represent my hometown and I'm proud to stand behind them. Find them right off Andreessen at SR 500 in the heart of Clark County or online at vancouverford.com.
The all-new ESPN Radio Morning Show, Unsportsmanlike.
At what point are we going to acknowledge that Josh Allen is a great quarterback, but Josh Allen is also an overrated quarterback?
Chris Canty, Evan Cohen, and Michelle Smallman.
20 years running into guys that are my size. Does it sound like fun?
Chris, Evan, and Michelle.
Nobody can work the room like Coach Prime. And the people that like it are going to love it. The people that hate it, they're going to hate him even more.
Unsportsmanlike. Weekday morning starting at 6 Eastern on ESPN Radio and on ESPN2.
If you only have a 401k, you're not getting the most for retirement.
Wait, what?
Add a Robinhood IRA on top, then they'll boost it by 3%.
You can do that?
And if you transfer in any retirement account, you get 3% on top of that.
Is there a limit to the match?
No limit. Robinhood Gold gets you the biggest contribution match of any IRA on the market. Sign up for Robinhood Gold at Robinhood.com/boost by April 30th. Subscription fees apply.
Investing involves risk. 3% match requires gold for 1 year. From first match must keep IRA for 5 years. Match on transfers subject to additional terms and conditions. Robinhood Financial LLC, member SIPC.
Heart Royal Flush Tour 2024. September 17th, Moda Center. A journey through the hits and timeless classics. The iconic band returns with special guest Cheap Trick. Tickets on sale now at heart-music.com. Heart with Cheap Trick live. Produced by AEG Presents.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same, but is 95% cheaper?
Big Six right over there.
Talking a bunch about pervs in the last segment.
You know, the pervs, somebody texted in and was talking about the guy who would go into he worked at a video store, and this guy would come in and he'd keep his motorcycle helmet on the whole time.
Yeah.
To try to hide his perviness.
He didn't want to go in the back. Because remember, the old video stores had the curtain that you had to walk through to get to the adult section.
That's right.
Yeah.
I would imagine, it just made me think that during COVID, I bet the mask thing was great for pervs.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
It was also really good for thieves. Like my mother-in-law, she got her wallet stolen at out shopping, and they basically said everyone wearing a mask, it's way harder to identify people and to track people down who are doing that regularly.
Well, Deal's in saying he can't wait for the fan endorsement. I'm Dusty here, and I want to talk to you about handies. That'd be amazing if we had the parlors advertising.
Yeah,
and
I tell you what, I might do it.
Yeah,
Hold
why
on.
not?
I think I got one for Rob.
Yeah, it's where the hard dudes are. Oh, God.
Well,
I've never seen so much dong in my life.
Oh, boy. You know, the nice part is when you go over to Asia, you know, whether it's Taiwan or like Hong Kong, certainly Japan, the nice part about the Asians, they take their pervs and they let it fly.
Yeah, they lean into it.
Like you will walk into like they have like Walmart's, like their version of Walmart. You walk into these places and just anything you want, like randomly, it's just for sale, right? And then there are like 6 or 7 levels, and the second story is all just porn. And by the way, like it's not like, oh, I'm going to slink up there. No, dude, it's just dudes up there perusing. They got like shopping carts full of it, like sidewalks. It doesn't matter. They're like, we're pervs. We love it.
And it's totally normal to us.
Yeah, no one cares.
I remember when Hideki Matsui signed with the Yankees, and it was discovered he had a 55,000 title adult film collection. People were like, whoa. If this was any like American dude, be like, what's wrong with that guy? But,
yeah. Yeah, it's a thing that you can't walk like 3 blocks without coming across like an entire like section of porn, and the Japanese don't care. And the weirdest part is like when you go in there, it's packed. There's like 30, 40 people, and they're just perusing. They're like, yeah, let's check out what this has going on.
Isn't everybody, I mean,
they're way more advanced.
To some extent, isn't everybody a little pervy?
Well, I would hope
like we all have, we all have desires.
It's just various levels.
I just
appreciate that theirs is so
taboo because of the stupid religion and crap. Like, it's like, get over yourselves. Everybody wants to do it. We all want to get it on. It's just call a spade, right?
Oh no, they were hurting you so bad. Oh no.
Just saying, you go over to Asia, buckle up. You're going to see some stuff.
Let's see. An unprecedented Saturday ahead in sports.
Really?
In one sport.
Mm-hmm. I'm not familiar.
Well, you're going to be.
Oh, I can't wait.
Joey Harrington, 5:30. Club 1080 tonight. Right now, the Hot 5 at 5.
Oh! Hot topics, hot opinions.
Oh, Charlie, I'm hot today.
And hot air. It's time for the Hot 5 at 5.
That's hot.
The Hot 5 at 5 on Primetime with Isaac and Sue.
No, I mean it. That's very hot.
The Hot 5 at 5 with Isaac and Sue. Brought to you on The Fan by Victor Rico's Mexican Food, the most popular burrito spot in Oregon. Online at victorricos.com. Number 5.
Round 2 of the Pebble Beach Pro-Am. There is a clip circulating of Tom Brady topping a 3-wood.
Oh, boy. Little embarrassing.
I
think we've all been there.
Oh, there's no doubt.
It's your fault for trying to hit a 3-wood. I don't even make the attempt. Unless it's off the tee.
Dude, I don't even hit it off the tee. I think that's the hardest club in the whole bag to hit.
I love that club off the tee.
You do?
I got more control with it than I do with the driver.
I hate the 3-wood. Anyway. Thomas Dietrich, Ludwig Aberg, and Scotty Schiffer are tied for the lead at 11 under. Patrick Cantlay, 10 under. Justin Thomas, Emiliano Grillo, and Matthew Pavon are 9 under.
I just enjoy listening to your accents.
Pavon.
Keegan Bradley, Bo Hossler, Colin Morikawa, 8 under. How about that? Tom Hoagie, my man, he loves Pebble Beach. Matthew Fitzpatrick, 7 under.
Number 4.
It's a nice leaderboard.
You know what? That is a good little leaderboard. Shintaro Fujinami,
Should I know that name?
You should now. He was a gas can for the A's and the O's last season.
Now, the newest Metropolitan.
Now I know who you're talking about.
ERA over 7, but that's good enough for the Mets.
Yeah.
1 year, $3 million.
He was actually a big deal when we went over and when we were in Japan. He was the top pitcher that came over last year. He actually pitched okay when he got to Baltimore. After the deal. So
Mets also get lefty reliever Jake Diekman. He's a former Royal.
The final pieces are in place.
The Giants have traded pitcher Ross Stripling to the A's, where careers go to die. San Francisco getting outfielder Jonah Cox.
Is there anything more depressing than getting traded to the A's?
That's not
right now.
Yeah, right now, no. Yeah. But Vegas, I think, when they get to Vegas.
But that's not till 2028.
Yeah.
It's like 4 years away. They're going to be playing all over the.
Where are they going to be playing?
That's the thing. People don't know because their lease on the stadium was expiring. So
Red Tail Golf Course.
Maybe.
Well, I mean, Salt Lake is doing the come here A's. They're trying to do the screw Vegas, get over here.
Sacramento, maybe. Yeah. Stockton.
Blazers are in Denver tonight. The status of Nikola Jokic in doubt as he nurses a back injury. Although, have we seen anything on that? I haven't looked up the latest.
I have not.
Listed questionable last I saw.
I'll tell you right now, with the way they've been playing lately, if they beat the Nuggets,
I'm going to be pissed.
I'm going to be hitting the panic button. If the Joker doesn't play and they find a way to win this, I'm nervous.
Where are they at? How many wins?
15, I believe.
15 now.
15 and 33.
And there's like 30. So 15 and 33. So
48 games of 82.
So
yeah,
34 games left.
I'm very nervous.
34 games. What's the over-under?
28 and a half.
And they're at how many wins?
15.
So they have to win 14 of the next 34 games.
I'm nervous.
That's doable, dude.
I know. I don't.
Keep the faith, brother.
And they're playing well right now. I need a soft tissue
injury.
Skid.
I
and now there's talk that they may not deal Brogdon, that he may just stay until next year. Which
we need a desperate franchise.
I don't like that at all.
Means we got to root for point guard injuries on other teams.
The Seahawks are bringing in a veteran coach to help out the young Mike McDonald. Leslie Frazier, former Bills defensive coordinator and Vikings head coach, has been added as an assistant head coach.
Makes a lot of sense. He was a really, really well-respected coordinator. Again, been a head coach before, can lean on him. It's a great move on the part of Seattle.
Cowboys need a defensive coordinator. 2 names have popped up. Former Panthers coach Ron Rivera and ex-Mike McCarthy Lieutenant Mike Zimmer.
Oh, old bastard Mike Zimmer, huh? Is he anywhere?
No, I think he's
been
just sitting
off.
out there.
Yeah.
Names of Brandon Staley, Wink Martindale, and Mike Vrabel also being tossed out there. Steve Belichick, Bill's kid, is out in New England. He's now interviewing for a role on Jed Fish's staff at Washington.
Yeah, there was supposedly New England made an offer to let them stay, but that sounded like they wanted to.
Steve Belichick does look very grunge. Seattle would be a good place for him.
What if Steve lands at Washington and then all of a sudden Belichick's so desperate to coach, he's now coaching the University of Washington Husky defense?
I'm sure that the college kids would love Bill.
The SEC and the Big Ten are trying to take over college football. The 2 leagues have announced today a joint advisory group that'll be made up of the school's chancellors, presidents, and ADs with the goal of an urgent mission to steer the sport into the future.
Yeah, basically, it's a mess right now. Someone's got to get control of this thing. And let's be honest, the only entities that matter right now in college football are the SEC and the Big Ten. They did say that there's talk about they will allow for expansion and other people to get on board. Basically, hey, we're going to come up with some rules that benefit us, and if you want a taste of this, get on board now in a lesser role. Otherwise, you're going to get steamrolled. I mean, this is just the way it's heading, is the 2 super conferences, and Fox and ESPN, Big Ten, SEC, and this is going to be the haves and the have-nots. Just give it 4 or 5 years, and this thing is not going to look the same.
Victor Rico's Mexican food, the most popular burrito spot in Oregon. Order now at victorricos.com. Up next, it is going to be an unprecedented Saturday in one sport. That's next on The Fan.
It's a super matchup.
Jackson, middle, end zone, intercepted. Turnover, Ravens. Kansas City takes over.
With a comeback for the H's, the 49ers are going back to the Super Bowl.
Are the Chiefs ready to give the Niners a swift kick?
You can now bet on whether or not Travis Kelce will propose to Taylor Swift.
Talk about it and get the inside story with Portland's sports leader, 1080.
Even she's tired of seeing her.
The Fan.
Now, here's a quick look at Portland traffic.
Westbound Sunset Highway before Murray, a crash in the right lane. Traffic's backed up from 217. If you're eastbound on Sunset Highway, you're slow and go from Southwest Canyon over to the merge with 405. I'm Claire Beverly with
next. We'll ask him what the hell the Ravens were doing out there. But this weekend, and it isn't just Saturday, there was also something on Sunday that adds to this. But this is a first in the history of this sport.
Well, I'm trying to think of what sports are going on.
Unprecedented.
So, not the NBA, not the NHL with the breaks.
Well, why would you take the NBA out of it? Just curious.
Well, I guess, the All-Star break isn't until next week because the NHL isn't playing this weekend.
Right. But it's not the NBA.
It's not the NBA?
No.
What? Is it something to do with college basketball, maybe?
It is.
I was like, what else is going on? Yeah, college basketball.
This weekend is bringing the first ever college basketball bonanza of 4 top 10 matchups in the same weekend.
Run that by me again?
Do I have to?
Yeah.
This weekend is bringing the college basketball bonanza in the form of 4 top 10 matchups in the same weekend.
Never happened, huh?
That has never happened.
Well, I mean, 8 of the top 10 teams. I would say, yeah, that's kind of a rarity.
Very rare.
Because that's obviously not something that, they plan out.
Well, I say very rare. It's never happened.
Never happened.
So you've got Duke, North Carolina.
And that's the first time they've played this year. I did see that.
Tar Heels are number 3. The Blue Devils are number 7.
The Dukies.
You have Tennessee, Kentucky.
Can't say that I knew Tennessee was a top 10 team.
Vols are number 5. Kentucky is number 10.
Mm-hmm.
You have Houston, Kansas. Houston is number 4.
That I was aware of.
Kansas is number 8. And on Sunday, you will have Purdue, Wisconsin. Purdue is number 2. Wisconsin is number 6.
Well, that is pretty cool.
That's great.
Will you be watching any of that besides Kansas? No. It's all right. You can
Purdue, Wisconsin. Probably not. I may bet on some of it.
North Carolina in the Dukies, if I can remember. I would check that out.
That game.
This is around the time of the year where naturally I start just kind of paying attention to college basketball.
Yeah, that game's tomorrow night. Tomorrow afternoon, 3:30. Duke, Carolina.
Yeah, if I don't have
That's always a good game.
Exactly. If I don't have anything going on, and this is where cutting the cord has hurt me. Because now...
Because you're not just going to flip over to it.
Yeah, now I got to go find it.
Yeah.
And
it's on ESPN.
Still, I gotta go.
Is that hard for you, ESPN?
No, but again, I have to go into an app, or I have to go to the streams.
Oh, see, that's why you got to get one of those streaming cable services, like YouTube TV or something.
And I don't.
Yeah.
And so I just,
Yeah, so that would not be that easy to find. Do you have ESPN Plus?
I do, but through someone else. But yeah,
well, you get it on there.
You can get it on there. It's just one of those things that I find myself in the past when I would sit down, if I didn't have anything going to do on a Saturday, I'd sit there and I could flip through. And now I will say that I'm less prone to watch things like that because they just aren't presented in front of me. I have to go navigate those. So I'll see if I'll catch any of that.
Saturday will represent the 49th time Duke and North Carolina will meet as top 10 teams. That is 35 times more than any other two schools have met as top 10 teams.
Yeah, it's the best rivalry in college basketball.
Come on.
Yeah.
And by the way, in the previous 48, they're 24-24.
Get right the hell out of town.
There was something going a ways back that they were like 48-48 against each other, and their point differential was down to like a handful of single points.
Exactly the same.
Who has more national championships?
Carolina?
Yeah, I think Carolina. Coach K didn't win as many as you might think he would have.
Didn't he win like 5 or 6?
I thought he won 5.
And then UCLA. It's got to be UCLA, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Right? How many did Wooden win?
11, I think, right?
I'm looking here. College basketball team with the most national titles. Yeah, UCLA's got 11. Kentucky with 8.
Yeah, K's got 5.
Carolina with 6. Dukie's with 5. Indiana 5. UConn. There's your Rock Chalk 4.
Yeah.
That's it. Those are the only schools to have won more than 3. Nova's got 3, Cincy 2, Florida 2, Louisville, Michigan State, NC State, Oklahoma State, San Fran. Boy, I'll tell you what. I want to look at like football. That's kind of crazy. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Only 14 teams that have won more than one national championship. No, it's like, you can say the sport may be, it gets considered to be more, what would you say, not as top heavy, like anyone has a chance. But in reality, same as college football. It's the same teams.
Yeah, UCLA at 11 is, it's just wild to think about how many titles they won.
Yeah.
How dominant they were.
Yeah.
With Wooden and those guys.
And it was just that, well, I can't say it's just that one because O'Bannon won one, right?
Yeah.
And they got to 3 or 4 Final Fours in a row, but they lately I was like Kevin Love and all that, Westbrook, but they never won one, right? Those teams never won one.
No, they never won. They just won the one outside of the Wooden.
Yeah.
I think
they just because then Wooden would have won 10 then.
Yes.
Because they did win one with O'Bannon.
I think that's right. But the key is that Kansas has 4.
That's all that matters. Yes.
So anyway, it's a big weekend in college basketball. If you care, I mean, that's pretty good. That might get some people to actually watch.
I hope so.
Kansas is an underdog. They're at home.
Are they really?
Yep. Houston's tough.
Yeah, Houston bitch slapped BYU last week.
They're tough.
Our 4 white guys and an Egyptian were not.
Didn't work?
No. Our Egyptian center, though, dude, he's averaging like 11 assists a game.
I tried everything. We played 4 white guys and an Egyptian. We tried everything.
I just love that that's Rick Pitino's trying to lose, and that's a top 20 team in BYU. Yeah.
All right, coming up next, Joey Harrington joins us for his weekly visit here on Football Friday. It is 5:28. Here's Buck.
This is
1080 The Fan.
Football Fridays with Joey Harrington. Sadly winding down, Joey. It's so sad this time of year because, yes, the Super Bowl is next weekend, but we're out of football games.
Well, in the context of football, but like in the context of our conversations, I'm actually happy because now we get to talk about like stuff that has nothing to do with football,
like golf,
like
soccer,
well, like golf. But I meant more like like crazy stuff, like crazy fun stuff. Like, oh yeah, remember that time that Suk was on a yacht with Jeff Bezos and they jumped off and like that type of stuff.
I don't think that happened.
I don't remember that. I wish it were to happen. Look, if there's someone,
I'll tell you why you don't remember why it happened, and never mind.
That's true.
That will never happen.
No, but I will tell you that if there's someone out there that has a bunch of money that needs someone to help them make bad decisions, I'm on board. I mean, sign me up. I'll we can push this evening however we want it to go. Just point me in the right direction.
I like your style. Yeah. I like your style, Superman.
Yeah, the key is to just not say no. You just say yes. It's like, hey, do you want to?
It's like stand-up comedy, or it's like
yes, Andy. Yeah.
You just always say yes.
Always say yes, and you see where the night goes. We call that a opportunity.
That's right. Patented.
I call that Thursday.
Well, let's review first. Can you help explain what John Harbaugh and Todd Monken might have been thinking with their game plan against Kansas City?
God, you're acting like I remember what happened.
Yeah, it's 6 carries for the number 1 rushing attack in the NFL.
Football people are flummoxed.
I can't figure it out. It's the damnedest thing I've ever seen.
I don't think it has anything to do with game plan. And you could have like the greatest game plan and an absolute roster of just straight Hall of Famers, but if you run up against Patrick Mahomes in the playoffs, you're going to lose. Like that's just I've conceded to that fact that he at no point in his life or whatever he has going forward it will ever lose if there's a playoff involved. It could be like he could be in what is like something that he could be that would involve a playoff post career. He could be in like a paper, rock, scissors playoff. He could be like coaching in a CYO 4th grade basketball playoff. If the word playoff is involved, Patrick Mahomes will not lose, no matter who you are or when it happens.
Yeah, we were talking, and I hate the whole, he's only been in the 6 years, and so I don't like, he's the best of all time, and is he better than Brady? But I always said, or I guess I did say this last week, that if I created a quarterback in a lab, I don't really know where I would replace or what I would replace. Like he's super accurate, great pre-snap, very mobile, moves around, great scrambler.
That's where he's sneaky. But he's not fast.
No, but he's a great scrambler. Like I get it. He's not Lamar Jackson, but this is my point. Like he's not Tom Brady. Like if you're picking apart Tom Brady, what you would pick apart is he's very immobile. Same thing with Peyton Manning, right? Like there's a flaw in that game. But how many times do we see him do that weird little pirouette run? It looks like an 8-year-old girl, and yet you look up and it's 13 yards. No one hits him, and he gets a first down. It's the damnedest thing. It has to be infuriating for a defense.
Oh, for sure. But I would bet, and maybe we could do this in story time. We go down the list of all the quarterbacks in the NFL, and I would guess that he is 32, 5, that he is one of the 6 slowest quarterbacks in the NFL.
And yet, and then how does he continue? Like he picks up first downs with his legs as good as anyone not named Josh Allen or Lamar Jackson.
Exactly, because it happens in the playoffs. Again, coming back to my premise that it doesn't matter who you are, or where you are playing, or what time of day, or which hemisphere. If you face Patrick Mahomes in the playoffs, he will win.
Besides the Patriots, who had already established themselves by the time you were in the league, who are those teams when you played that you just knew you were in for it, a la the Chiefs?
I think that at least for us, it was Green Bay. Being in Detroit And, I remember, I think we talked about this in terms of, temperature of games, but I remember it was my third year in the league and Sunday night games, second, third week of December in Green Bay. So it was like Central Time, 6:30, 7 o'clock kickoff Central Time. And, it was like 13 degrees at kickoff. And, by the time you get to the fourth quarter, it's 6 with a wind chill of, God knows what. And we had a 14-point lead going into the fourth quarter. Like, I don't know that things could have gone any better. And in that fourth quarter, Brett Favre drove him down for 2 touchdowns, and then Ryan Longwell hit the game-winning field goal. Like, it was inevitable. Like, no matter what, whether it was like us getting our clock cleaned, on Thanksgiving, whether it was going up there and playing the best you possibly could for 3 quarters, like at some point you just kind of knew that, well, Green Bay was going to beat you. And maybe that was just a Detroit thing, but I don't know. That was what it is for me.
Reggie White was done by then, right?
I'm not that old. Jeez.
Yeah, White was still there.
He was late 90s.
White was on that. He was the one that kind of put the Packers over the top with that Favre team.
Well,
right. But see, the Favre that I got was at the tail end. I got the Favre before he went to the Jets and Aaron Rodgers took over. So I got like Gabaja Biamila. He would have been a D end. But it was the corners for Green Bay during that time that were absolute. They were both.
Is that like Al Harris, right?
Mm-hmm. But Al Harris was the one that you quote unquote attacked because Mike McKenzie was on the other side until people realized that Al Harris was actually the better of the two, which was scary.
So when you played in the NFL, how often did you chalk up a loss to the other team and just go, wow, versus you're looking in the mirror?
The we beat ourselves versus
because Baltimore could look at it both ways. I think
it's funny. I had this conversation a lot, and I think we talked about it a little bit with the Washington Michigan national championship game. Like how much. You look at that and say, God, Michael Penix was off. God, Lamar Jackson was off. Like they just weren't themselves. How much of that was the moment? How much of that was, nerves? How much of that was Michigan/Kansas City just doing a hell of a job scouting and implementing a game plan to take them out of rhythm? Like, I don't know. Like it truly is one of those chicken or egg things. And sometimes I would say 5% of the time you're just feeling off, right? And 5% of the time, no matter what happens, the defenses, they're just better. But there's 90% of the time where you're sitting there kind of in that space where, like, if I just would have thrown that, and they answer, well, you didn't throw it because we baited you somewhere else. Well, yeah, but I just missed a little high. Well, you missed high because we were covering it well. Like I don't know that there ever really is a good answer to that.
But that's the part that bothers me about the Ravens, and like I get flummoxed by it. Like the Detroit one, no one just made plays, right? And whether you want to say it was Detroit or the Niners or a combination, but the number 1 rush team in the NFL, number 1 against the 28th best run defense, and they ran the ball 6 times. I just with their backs, and at that second drive that they marched, Gus Edwards, they ran a little power G. They ran it once with Gus Edwards, and it was a 15-yard carry, and they ran it once with Lamar on 4th and whatever, and he ripped off like a 26-yard run. They never ran that play again. They didn't run it once the rest of the game, and Gus Edwards didn't get another carry until the second half. Like, I can't wrap my head around that. I just don't understand. A team that is predicated on running the ball on first and second down, they threw the ball on first down 70% of the time. I in all my years of watching, that's the one where I just scratch my head where, when you say something's off or, did you win it? Did you lose it? I just go back to looking at them and saying, what the hell were you thinking going into the game? Other than, were you trying to make Lamar the star? Were you trying to prove that you could beat him throwing? Were you thinking you're going to just surprise everyone by going away? It just seems so odd. I've never seen a team be so good at something and then just not do it.
When you say it that way, you got yourself a point.
It just confuses me.
However, I go back to what Tinker Hatfield always tells me, which is when everybody zigs, you zag. Yeah. When everybody zags, you zig. Right? Maybe they're just trying to change it up a little bit. Like they thought they were going to run the ball. Kansas City probably prepared for us to run the ball, so we're going to throw the ball. Yeah. Like, hell, I don't know. And maybe I would say I've been on teams where you outthink yourself.
Yeah.
And maybe that's what happened, is they simply just outthought themselves. And then by the time they got into the flow of the game, then you're just kind of stuck.
Yeah, it's too late and you're playing from behind. And that's just one. I'm always somewhat careful of railing on people or teams because I'm not in the huddle. I'm not in there. I don't know what the game plan was. Maybe the backs are beat up, or maybe Lamar's legs aren't, I don't know. Like you said, maybe they were convinced that Kansas City was going to run 9-man boxes. So I'm always I just wish sometimes that I could know what's going on behind the scenes, because Baltimore never said anything about it. In the post-game press conference, Harbaugh said, and I quote, "It was just one of those things." And I don't know what that means. What do you mean it was just one of those things? Like, you can control whether or not you run the ball, at least make an attempt. And we may never know, but I would love to know. It's like with the Seahawks and the interception. I would love to know why they called that. I would love to know the thought process, but we don't get those. No one wants to ever spill the beans on any of that.
Doesn't Lamar wear a wristband? He has a wristband, if I remember correctly, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I bet you when he flipped up the lid on his wristband, it said, "Throw the child."
Oh, he's seen it.
The greatest commercial of all time.
That's what it's got to be. It's just one of those things. Like, sometimes you're just forced. Like, he had no choice. He flipped up his wristband and it said, "Throw the child."
I tell you right now, incorporated in my day-to-day life will be "throw the child." And the next time, no matter who it is, when someone says something that I don't disagree with, I'm going to turn to them and say, "You shut your face, Barrymore." And they will have no idea what I'm talking about, and it won't matter. I saw that commercial on the air. We were on commercial break, and I said to myself, I told Rob, "This is the best thing I've ever seen." Patrick Stewart deserves an Emmy for that. And they also, when he turns,
only one of us was made of pigskin.
When he turns to Tua and he says, "Not built for the moment I see."
The moment.
That's again.
You know what it had a feel of Celebrity Jeopardy with the Saturday Night Live.
Yes.
And Alex Trebek. It had like that. Patrick Stewart just had the Sean Connery. Not built for the moment, are you, Trebek?
As much as I want to be in the game plan, the meeting when Monken was laying that out, I want to be in the pitch room when someone at Paramount was like, "Hey guys, I got an idea for a commercial, and this is what I'm gonna need. I'm gonna need Sir Patrick Stewart. I'm gonna need Creed, and I'm gonna need Tua to talk about."
Of course, Creed is here.
And Drew Barrymore.
And now Creed is here.
And someone wrote in the script, "Shut your face, Barrymore." It's brilliant.
So for those that don't know what the hell we're talking about, there is a Paramount Plus TV ad that is gone viral.
I can't.
You can Google it.
Rob at one point comes back in the next break and is like, "Are you watching it again?" And I said, "Yes. Yes, it's the best. It's the best thing on TV right now."
It's great. All right, let's take a break. We're with our friend Joey Harrington here, courtesy of Mods PDX. I'm going to give you a little tease here. We're going to take Brady and Mahomes out, but you get to pick one quarterback for one game, one playoff game. And we're going to do that next.
Oh, that's easy.
Joey Harrington.
Yeah, he's got it, clearly.
We're going to do that next with Joey Harrington here on The Fan.
It's time for a Ducks Report, the inside story on Oregon athletics. Brought to you by Mods PDX. The future of building is here.
Please, without water, you can't survive. Really? And we will survive.
Here's another basket for Shellstad.
Hey, was that Bill Walton on the call last night?
That's right.
Oh, that's exciting.
Yeah, he tells us you need water to survive. Also, Jackson Shellstad leads about 20 points.
Yeah, how did Bronny look?
I don't know. I didn't watch most of the game because I was here editing and then I was driving home. So
I meant to watch it and then I forgot.
I caught some bits and pieces and
Well,
I really
won.
looked when Oregon was pulling away. But Shellstad looks really good, man.
All right. Mods PDX. The future of building is here.
When looking for new construction, you want to make your dreams come alive.
Yes, he has played very well for how many years is this for him?
6, I think.
6?
Well, I think he's 7, but the first year he didn't play much. I think he's been a starter for 6 years, if I'm not mistaken.
Right. He has played unbelievable for 6 years. That is not even a third of Tom Brady's career.
Yeah.
1/3. So, not only, is this guy wrecking shop? Well, yeah, he was wrecking shop, except for the year when Tom Brady actually won the championship while this other guy was a starting quarterback in the league. So he didn't wreck shop that year, right? So you want to go head to head and say, and the times where they did go head to head, well, looks like we picked Tom took him off of the team that he won 6 with. Which, if Mahomes wins, then he will have half of what Tom had prior to going and getting another one. Rarefied air, absolutely. Absolutely. Bradshaw, Montana, Aikman. I mean, absolute lock Hall of Fame conversation as one of the greatest quarterbacks the game has ever seen. Not even holding a candle to what Brady accomplished for duration or straight number of times. I'm sorry, it's just not a conversation.
When you put it that way, it's a pretty definitive statement on that.
Well, one of those two guys lost to Joey Harrington.
Yes.
Just want to point that out.
Great man.
Yeah, and I had I think I had 178 that game.
If only you played in the Super Bowl against.
You could be an Eli Manning.
Yeah.
I know. Ironically, I think I threw for 3-something the other time we played him that year, and we lost. And then the game where I threw, I was went straight Trent Dilfer on him and, threw for $178 and a touchdown. We beat him. It helps when you have Jason Taylor, defensive player of the year on the other side of the ball. I think he scored a touchdown or 2 that game.
He's pretty good.
But, hey, look, Rob, don't let the facts get in the way of a good story.
I love that.
That's what I
live by that. All right. Thank you. We will talk to you next week, pre-Super Bowl.
Yes. And then it's almost story time. I got to start collecting some fun stories again.
That's right.
So we don't have to recycle through.
We need new
ones.
Season. We need new ones.
We need some new ones. All right.
We'll talk to you next week. Thank you. All right, that's Joey Harrington, courtesy of Mods PDX. The future of building is here. Quentin Tarantino, his final film is coming.
So sad.
We'll get to that next to kick off the club on The Fan.
Are you kidding me?
It's easy to think all money managers are pretty much the same, but at Fisher Investments, we're clearly different.
Different how? You sell high commission investment products, right?
No, Fisher Investments doesn't sell any commission-based investment products.
Well, you must earn commissions on trades.
Nope, never at Fisher. We're a fiduciary, obligated to act in our client's best interest. It's the highest standard of care for a financial advisor.
How do you know what's in their best interest?
We get to know our clients and then tailor a portfolio based on their goals and needs.
But you probably sneak in some hidden and layered fees.
No, we have one transparent management fee structured so we do better when our clients do better.
Wow, you really do look out for your clients.
That's because our top priority is helping them achieve a comfortable retirement. It might be why most of our clients come from other money managers. Visit FisherInvestments.com to find out why investors like you switch to us. Fisher Investments. Clearly different money management.
Investments and securities involve the risk of loss.
definition of spunk.
Was she walking with hand weights?
No, she's got a little wiener dog she walks with. But she was in the hair was extra froey today. I mean, on point with Richard Simmons, or an old lady, or middle-aged lesbian. It's tough to tell, but she's fantastic. And we're crossing paths, and she's like, "Oh, hi," and she knows me by name. She's like, "Oh, hi, Jason," and I'm like in my head, I'm like, "Do it.
You can't do it.
Do it. Do it. Do it."
How you doing, you spunky old broad?
Gosh.
You can't do that.
I was right there. It was like the tip of my tongue. I was like,
and he knows it.
We were just talking about it. I'm like, right there. And I was like, and then I said hi in her name.
See,
and I walked by.
You didn't say it because you know it wasn't right.
I was so disappointed in myself.
Why?
Like
you did the right thing.
I thought I'd have like a week or two to build up calling her a spunky old broad, but it was the very next day. The very next day. And
Maybe you'll be more prepared next time.
I totally pussed out. It was so disappointing because most of the time we're on opposite sides because she's not a sidewalk walker. She walks in the street because, again, she's a spunky old broad. She's not going to be confined to the sidewalk.
So do you think you were going to be more comfortable doing it from across the street?
No, a spunky old broad's got to be it's got to be face to face. Because most of the time, if we're opposite sides, then we just do a pleasant wave and that's it. You got to encounter, and sometimes I encounter Richard Simmons at her house. Because she's just either coming in or coming out. She just lives a couple streets down from me. So I just thought I'd have more time, and it was there, and I panicked, and I was so disappointed in myself. I feel like she will think it's great that I call her a spunky old broad.
No, she won't.
I think she will.
No, she won't.
No?
That's not.
You might catch her off guard, and maybe I think your best hope is that you confuse her, and that she's just like, huh, and doesn't know what to make of it.
Your best hope is you confuse
Worst
the
case,
old
you
lady.
really offend her.
Yeah, that's offensive.
I don't think it is.
It is.
But she's not going to be like, oh, hell yeah, I'm a spunky old broad.
I think she's going to. I think no one's
I'm going to put this up as a poll.
I think no one has called her a spunky broad in 60 years.
Well, no one's called her spunky in 60 years, and that might still be nice. You could call her
broad.
Yeah, it's the broad part.
See, she's got to be 80 years old. I think broad was an acceptable term. I think the last time someone called her a broad, I think she liked it.
No. You are so wrong on this. I'm putting this up on the poll. We didn't have a poll question today because I screwed it up.
Yeah.
It's going up right now. Hold on. Let me.
Should I call Richard Simmons lady a spunky old broad?
Is it acceptable for Suk to call his 80-year-old dog walking neighbor?
You're making me uncomfortable.
A quote, spunky old broad.
Well, hello there.
I think she's the type that's going to enjoy it.
She'll love it.
I think she's going to give me one of these.
No. No.
And then
strong. No.
And then
what are you
wave.
talking about?
I think she's going to wave me off. I think she's going to do the get out of here. All behind those sweet giant blue blocker glasses that she wears.
I have a grammar question.
Yeah.
Now this is not for you because you're a lost cause.
That's true.
When you put quotes around something, do you put the quote and then then the punctuation comes after does the punctuation come after the quote, or do you put the punctuation on the inside of the last quote?
I always thought, and I'm a complete idiot, I think it goes on the outside.
I'm not interested in your opinion.
That's what I'm saying.
I think that technically it goes inside the quote, but I hate that because then it appears like if it's a question,
it looks weird.
It looks wrong, but I think it's right to have it inside.
Inside.
I believe so.
Well, that's probably true because I thought it went on the outside.
But I agree that it doesn't look right.
I'm looking right here. Where does the punctuation go in the quote?
What's internet say?
Put commas and periods within the quotation marks, except on a reference.
Well, could that be referencing what someone else said?
Wait, it's a question mark.
Yeah, he said it would be, quote, I may have forgot your name, but I will never forget your face, period, quotation marks. Buck's right.
Okay, so it goes on the inside.
Yeah, it goes on the inside.
All right. So I'll do that. Posted.
The only way you would put it is if you were referencing something like a quote and then quotation,
I see.
It came from
Yeah.
it came from whatever you're referencing.
There is a poll question on X at 1080 The Fan. We would like you to vote, and please vote hard. Is it acceptable for Suk to call his 80-year-old dog-walking neighbor a spunky old broad? She'll love it, or no, strong no.
Vancouver Forward text line is in. After a 5-minute argument, the spunky old broad I live with says it's borderline offensive. Damn it!
It is.
What I need, I need people.
I don't know how you don't see that.
Oh no.
But this is like Jim's in. He says, Jason, I'm with you on this. I honestly think she's gonna love it. It may slap you on the ass on the way by.
Jim's an idiot too.
I don't know why I think she's gonna like it, but I think she is. Me and Richard Simmons lady have a good rapport going.
We got another
I'm not a stranger.
Another texter says that broad is absolutely flattering to the right kind of lady. You just have to know.
Yes, double quote or double exclamation point. She's gonna love it. We're very split on this.
No, we're not split. Don't make this into a split. You guys are not right about this.
I need people that are at home right now with spunky old broads to ask. That's who I need to go to. I need other people to ask spunky old broads if it's okay to call someone a spunky old broad. And I'm not going to say that we're friends, but we do know each other's names. She doesn't know that I call her Richard Simmons lady. I think if she did, she'd probably be a bit offended, even though reality, she knows she looks like Richard Simmons. But we are friendly. We acknowledge each other on walks all the time. I feel like that's the perfect situation to take the relationship to the next level and call her a spunky old broad.
Are you out of your mind?
Let us know how it goes.
Well, I should have today, but I cowered it out. I'm not.
And there's a reason. See, that tells you right there that you know
that she's not going to like it.
Yes,
I'm nervous because I don't want to ruin a good rapport with Richard Simmons lady. She's one of the few olds in the neighborhood that likes me.
Well, yeah, don't screw that up.
That's because you know that calling her a broad will ruin the rapport.
I wonder if I can do an informal poll of all the other old broads that live on my block.
The ones who you don't care if you offend them?
Yeah. Like the two bitches that live next door to me. I want to be like, hey, what would you think if someone called you a spunky old broad?
I want a little bitch.
I want to call them a lot of other things, and spunky old broad is not one of them.
Well,
I got two neighbors. I got a neighbor across the street from me, and they're both in their 70s. Great people. I wonder what she would think. I feel like I could ask her that question. Yeah. Well, I'm just here to report that I totally wussed out today. I thought about it. It was holstered.
I was
Reddit. Going for it, and I flamed.
Reddit is on this. Of course, there's a Reddit thread on everything.
Yeah.
And the Reddit thread is the term broad offensive when referring to a woman? Usually, yes. It's almost never used in a way that is respectful.
No.
This texter says, I'm 80, gender fluid, broad is cool, spunky gets me excited, old is offensive.
What if how about this? What if I eliminated old and just called her a spunky broad?
A spunky lil broad?
Hey, what's up, you spunky little broad? What about that?
What about Dame?
I think it's working for you.
Well, Dame's too. She'll love Dame.
Dame is a little classy.
Dame's fine. Yeah, it's fine. No, broad has to be, and the whole point is to hit broad.
She might not like it.
And I think it's really the way you say it. I think if I'm like, hey, what's up, you spunky old broad? Bad. But if I'm like, what's up, you spunky old broad? I think she knows that there's some excitement. We're being playful. It's a joyous sort of thing.
Good luck. Let us know how it goes.
It's like if you call someone a Jew, it really is about the connotation.
Oh, dear.
Well, it's true.
I know. It's scary.
If we're talking about Travis Demers and we're like, oh, Travis is a Jew, that's fine. If you're like, oh, he's a Jew. See, way worse. It's all in the way you say it.
You should keep doing this.
I think...
Yeah, would you like a shovel to keep digging that hole?
I think broad is the same thing. I think that's even like a Louis C.K. bit where he talks about that. Like, it's all in the way you present.
Yeah, and he's never been canceled for saying something.
Oh, yeah, that's true. No, he got canceled.
Actually, not for saying something, for doing something.
He got canceled for it. And by the way, mine's in my pants. I'm not whipping anything out. Not in front of you two. You can't just flop that thing out on national TV and be like, hey, check this thing out. That's true. You can't do that. I don't know. I think if I drop old, the old is I don't think the broad is the dangerous part. I think it's old. I think if I drop the broad and I go with spunky little broad, think this can work.
Okay, text line now saying, my broad says lead with a compliment, then end with spunky, and you might get away with it. Example, you look great today, you spunky old broad.
Even better. Love it. Because she's always wearing like a powerhouse coat, like the kind that like goes down to your ankles, like that your mom wears. And this is how spunky this old broad is. When it's nice out, she wears like a ruffled skirt, almost like a tutu, but with leggings and knee pads underneath.
Knee pads?
Like knee braces, but with like pads built in. And then she like power walks with her little wiener dog. That's the definition of a spunky old broad. She's wearing a tutu with leggings and knee braces. And the glasses just make it. You know those old blue blockers? You put on like over glasses? Yeah. That's how Richard Simmons lady gets down.
Right now the poll has 29 votes.
Yeah.
52% say she'll love it.
See, I think this is split.
You guys are all wrong.
I like the compliment. I like that you're looking great today. That's a sweet ass coat, you spunky old broad.
I hope she stabs you.
She sicks her wiener dog on me.
All right. Where were we? Oh, movie news. Quentin Tarantino out with his, well, he's not out with it, but he is making his final film.
And yeah, this is it. He said he's only, is it 12?
That's what he said.
12 or 10, whatever number is. He said he's going to make, that's the number he's going to make, and he's done.
I don't know. You buying that? Although he's not that young, is he?
No, and I do. I've listened to enough interviews with him where he seems really, really adamant.
He's only 60.
And he said he's willing to do some like TV, or he'll write script still, but he just thinks that when guys hang around and make movies past a certain point, you become embarrassing. I do. I think he will walk away after this.
All right, we'll get to that next. And then we've got more hot airplane behavior for you.
Oh, boy.
You like those stories?
What's going on airplanes lately?
Well, this one involves an anus.
Oh, see, I saw one that involved urine.
Well, I think it's the same one.
Okay.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. It's good stuff. All coming up on The Fan.
The Fan invites you to play in the first
relationship
Yeah.
from Inglourious Bastards and Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Is it controversial to say Inglourious Bastards is my favorite Quentin Tarantino movie?
Not at all.
Because
No.
it is.
I mean, they rewrite history to kill a bunch of Nazis. Nothing wrong with that.
I thought that movie was fantastic.
Yes.
And I am not I'm not this Tarantino, everything he does is great guy.
Yeah.
I thought, I didn't think Django Unchained was that great.
Yeah.
And I definitely didn't like The Hateful Eight.
I think the Hateful
Pulp Fiction's amazing.
I think the Hateful Eight probably is the one that, that and Grindhouse. The Grindhouse, and that's the one.
I don't even know what that
that's
is.
the double feature he did with Robert Rodriguez.
Yeah, I have no idea what that is.
Yeah, that's
The Hateful Eight was boring.
You didn't like The Hateful Eight?
No.
See, I enjoyed The Hateful Eight, but I wouldn't say that it's. If I'm ranking it, that is probably my lowest. The Rotten Tomatoes, Pulp Fiction is 1.
Yeah,
but they're
of
all high. Pulp Fiction is 92, Reservoir Dogs 90, Inglourious Basterds 89. So you're very close. I would say
What's after that?
Django 87, Jackie Brown 88.
Oh yeah, Jackie Brown.
And this is the one that I would put higher. And some people have said it's boring. I love Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
No, that was great.
But it's long, and for some people, it's not enough happens.
I didn't love it my first time through, but I know that I need to go back again.
The Brad Pitt DiCaprio, that relationship. I know that it's the slowest move. Well, no, The Hateful Eight is a slow movie. It's 3 hours long, and there are definitely points where it drags on, but it's a love letter to old Hollywood, and I love it. And then,
that's a good movie.
And then obviously the Kill Bills, and those are very different types of movies. But I named my daughter Oren, for God's sake.
Confession.
Yeah.
Never seen him.
Never seen him. Yeah, I mean, I
know nothing of the Kill Bills.
It's a genre. So if Tarantino loves, by the way, his book is really good. He wrote a book on cinema where he takes like 10 movies from the golden age of cinema, and he does a deep dive into them. And it's really, really, I mean, he is a savant when it comes to movies. And so he likes certain like theme styles of films, whether it's the spaghetti Western, which is obviously Django. Kill Bill is obviously the old samurai movies. So if you don't like those kind of movies, you're not going to like Kill Bill. But I love those to the point, again, I named my kid after one of the characters.
You know, he's never had a movie that won Best Picture.
No, which is a shame.
So he'll probably win for this one.
I will tell you what. If this next one that he does, and did it say what?
It's called The Movie Critic.
The Movie Critic?
But we're short on deets. If
this is really good and it gets nominated, they will give him the Lifetime Achievement Award. Like Scorsese got that. The Lord of the Rings got that. Well, even though it's probably not there, like The Departed is not the best of his
wasn't
movies.
the best picture, but they're like, well, you also did Goodfellas and everything else. And it was a Lifetime Achievement.
Yes. So I could see Tarantino getting that.
So we have Paul Walter Hauser and Brad Pitt in the cast.
Mm-hmm.
That's all we know. And then, that's all we have so far. And then, of course, Tarantino. But then it just says the story of an irreverent critic in 1970s California who reviews mainstream movies for a porno magazine called the Pop Star Pages.
Interesting. So basically, he's going to write this about himself. He's going to put himself in this role. The one that no one appreciates, that if you haven't seen it, you should go watch, is Jackie Brown. I would say that
that's a really good movie.
From a commercial success, I'll bet you Jackie Brown was the least successful of all his movies. And Jackie Brown is really, really good. And it just, I don't know, it never caught on the way some of his others did.
I guess it's based on the movie critic Jim Sheldon of the porno rag The Hollywood Press. I don't know. But
a porno critic.
They're also saying
I'm
that
assuming Brad Pitt's playing that porno critic?
Yeah, I don't know. But they're saying that he wants to give Bruce Willis his final movie appearance.
He can't.
Well, but, throw him in there.
It's going to be a Val Kilmer and Maverick situation.
Right.
Yeah.
You know?
Except Val just can't speak. Bruce doesn't. Sounds like Bruce right now doesn't know where he's at.
Could they, not to sound callous, could they just put him out there so that he's, physically appears? Yeah.
Boy, that'd be weird and
well,
awkward.
not prop. I'm not talking Weekend at Bernie's.
Like when they brought out Ted Williams at the All-Star game?
Well, anyway, theaters in 2025. The Movie Critic.
I will be extremely excited and also extremely bummed because I am one of those guys that I have loved everything that Tarantino has ever done.
Well, you kind of have to. Yeah, I mean, you have to pay attention, right?
Yeah.
Like when he puts something out, it's. Put it this way, he's not overrated.
No,
he's greatness.
Yeah, but
I do think a lot of people don't appreciate him because he's either too quirky or a little bit too complex or things like.
Well,
I don't think he's always mainstream. You know,
Well, and he's an ass.
That too.
You know, he's very opinionated. He's very loud, and you know, I get it. He's probably not for everybody. But to me, like I get like if you're doing like Spielberg's probably the greatest director of all time. I would assume that people are going to go Spielberg or Scorsese, Coppola. Like Hitchcock, that's before me. I was just thinking like I don't know, within my kind of realm. And I know that he's made way more, but I don't need to see every Spielberg movie. I don't. Like if you told me Steven Spielberg's directing it, I'm not like, oh, I have to go see a Spielberg film. Tarantino is one of the few people that if you put Tarantino's name on it, I will go see it because Tarantino directed it. And I can't say that about Scorsese. I can't say it about Spielberg. Kubrick, I could say it about. If you, well, I mean, not make him anymore, but anything that Kubrick's done, I've seen. Christopher Nolan is kind of in that category for me. When I see Christopher Nolan's directed it, I'm immediately like, oh, maybe I'll give that a whirl. Eastwood, maybe a little bit, but Tarantino's my number one guy. Coen Brothers is the other one. If you told me Coen Brothers or Tarantino are behind it, I'm going to see it. And I've never not liked a Tarantino movie.
All right, we've got more people acting up on airplanes, getting kicked off.
Bless the
skies. It's just a thing now.
Are we just so stressed when it gets into that? Is that it's just a bad situation for us all?
And they're all publicized. You know, they get clicks.
Yeah, that's true.
That's next. Here's Buck.
You're headed towards Turdville.
This is a Football Friday edition of Primetime with Isaac
just waiting for stuff.
Shows up in the New York Post. So neither of these fall into the category that I love to bring up on this show, and that is, should they have turned the plane around?
Yes.
These are, one is as they were getting ready to take off, and the other was once they landed. The first one is a British couple is flying to Greece on their honeymoon. And one of the crew members, this is before they have hit the runway to take off, one of the crew members notices smoke coming from a seat.
That's not good.
So then they go back there, and there's this 44-year-old dude. He's hitting the vape pen.
Ah, okay.
Yeah. So nothing major.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
But isn't that still like a significant fine?
Yep. They tell him, they say, you can't do that.
You can't do it.
Tell him to stop. Okay, so he gets belligerent. He says he can do whatever the hell he wants. Well,
it's never worked like that.
No, it doesn't work that way.
No.
The captain comes out and tells him to put it out, or they're not leaving.
Yeah.
So now everybody on the whole flight is all over his ass. They're like, dude, what are you doing?
Hey, I will say, it is amazing how many people can't read a room where you got 300 people on the plane and you're like, nope, I'm in the right. Everyone else is wrong.
So he tells the captain, F off.
Jeez.
Well, as you might expect.
That didn't go very well, huh?
It did not. They canceled the flight. They have to go back to the...
Dude.
You know, the gate.
My level of rage.
And deboard.
I can't process my anger.
I'd be so pissed.
At that point. Am I allowed to just beat the living hell out of someone?
I think you could probably remove him from his vape pen. Right?
Well, they got him. There's video of him walking out. And as he's walking out, he's asking for a lawyer, and he's still vaping.
Yeah.
And now he's blaming booze for his bad behavior.
I was gonna say you're lawyering up, saying that it's your right to vape. So that's a good question that Buck brings up. Obviously, I'm not allowed to assault him. Am I allowed? Like, what sort of thing would I get in trouble?
Like if you snatch it out of his hand, and he says give it back, and you say no, and he's not gonna do anything about it.
Get it out of his hand and just stomp the hell out of it, and be like, here's your vape pen. It's smashed. I'll buy you a new one when we land.
Something tells me that would not stop his bad behavior.
No,
you know?
but if the whole point is he's vaping is what is keeping us from going.
Yeah, but see, that's what I'm saying.
He might have found something else to become a problem
That's
anyways.
right.
But in this instance, it feels like you could separate him from that.
He would have remained a problem whether you smashed his vape or not, and they would have had to go back to the gate.
It's a valid point. I still feel like if they are telling me that we are going back to the gate, that this flight is going to be canceled, and I'm sitting near this man, I do feel that I, at that point, would have no choice but to take his vape. And I know it's probably really, really poor form. I just, especially if it was an important thing that I was going down to. Like, imagine if you were going to a wedding, a graduate, whatever it is you're going to. And you
first day of your honeymoon, whatever.
Yeah, whatever. And you're not going to be able to go because some dude is insistent upon vaping. I feel like we should be able to take a vote. And if enough people vote, someone should be allowed to kick his ass.
Or if enough people chant, kick him off, then we just agree. Mob justice.
Yeah, again, why do we all have to go? When we
exactly. They had to deboard the plane. See, that's another one. I don't understand that. Just get rid of him, and then let's go. But they had to deboard, and
what is that?
I don't know. To me, that's the same as turning the damn flight around.
Is that like an ultra safety measure that came out of 9/11 or something like that?
For fear that the idea is that you get kicked off a plane and then there's a bomb on it,
or that if someone's doing that, it might be because something else is going on or created. I mean, I don't know.
I need someone with airline experience. Where's Schulte with all his aviation knowledge? I need someone to explain to me what that is, because I've never had that happen, but I had a buddy of mine that happened to. He said there were two dudes and they were just being jackasses. Wouldn't buckle up, wouldn't sit down, the whole thing, and they deboarded everyone, and it said it delayed the flight by like 2 hours. And I'm like, how? I never understood that. How long does it take to remove two bros from an airplane? Even after you get cops, you put the bracelets on them, and away you go.
Yeah, you'd think it's a half-hour delay, and then we're on our way, right?
Makes no sense.
Yeah, it's like, oh, his bags are under there. Cool, we'll ship your bags back. Or how long does it take to go into the belly of the plane? I don't know. It just seems, it's a punitive decision to boot everyone. I don't like it.
The second one is upon a landing. And everybody's strapped in, because they're descending.
That's what you got to do.
And this woman says she has to pee. So this is a Frontier Airlines flight from Orlando to Philly.
Let me point out, it's your fault for being on Frontier. Frontier is no different than Spirit.
Her name is Dolce Huertas.
Oh, great name.
She's 60.
I feel like that's a high-end tequila, by the way.
Or fashion brand.
She sounds hot.
Yeah.
She's not.
No. It's disappointing.
She's a spunky old broad.
Yeah.
She had 2 cocktails during the flight.
Really? I also feel like when everyone says they've had 2 cocktails.
Well, no, she
had
didn't
6
say
before.
that. The crew said we served her 2 cocktails.
She didn't have 2 cocktails.
But she, obviously.
There was more. Yeah, we know.
So she got out of her seat while the plane was about to land in Philly and announced to the cabin that she had to pee. A flight attendant said she needed to sit down, but the woman began cursing before finally taking her seat during her outburst. So then the plane lands and was taxiing back to the gate, and she starts yelling and cursing at passengers around her. She then asks, or one of the
attendants?
Yes.
Flight attendants.
Is asked to call security to assist when they get to the gate, like she's being crazy.
Yeah.
Unhinged, as they called her here. And the captain was then notified to tell everyone, just stay seated. Okay. Old Dolce here, we're going to handle Dolce, just stay seated. So at the gate, she pushes through all these other passengers. I guess they were not seated. He was trying to get them seated. They're, how everybody does, they stand up.
Yeah.
She pushes through all these people and gets to the front of the cabin where she is then near the bathroom. But the crew stopped her. And they wouldn't let her pee.
I don't like that. Again,
I don't like it either.
I understand that there's a protocol, but when what if I got to take a Duke? What if the Montezuma is full go and Dolce has to let a little leche out and you don't have a choice?
I agree. I agree that I think this whole thing they should have let her pee.
Yeah.
I mean, I get that they were landing, but I don't think you can actually. I've always been under the impression that you can't actually keep someone from the bathroom. If they got to go, they got to go. What they have to do for liability reasons is they have to tell you, hey, we are landing. The fasten seatbelt sign is on.
No, sorry.
Most people will view that as sit your ass down, and they will sit down.
So now if something happens to you, they're covered.
That's right.
And you're taking on the liability.
Exactly. That's the way I've always understood it. In this instance, they did not let her pee, and I'm surprised that they didn't. What if she had to puke?
I don't know. One time when my kid was like 15, 14, something like that, middle school, maybe freshman, someone in their class pissed their pants because the teacher wouldn't let them up. Like the person was like raising their hand, like, I have to go. And I think they were taking like a test or something. And they asked like 2 or 3 times and the teacher refused and the kid ended up peeing her pants. And I was like, dude. It's like, if you got to pee your pants and your teacher's like, no, you tell, I gave my kids permission. I'm like, flip the middle finger to the teacher and be like, cool, do whatever you got to do.
I did that in 2nd grade.
Did you?
Well, I abused the bathroom pass. I basically, like, after recess every day, I'd be like, can I go to the bath? And then the teacher got sick of it. She's like, no, you just came out from recess. Like, you could have gone then. And I'm like, yeah, I was playing kickball, whatever. And she goes, next time you ask, you're not going. And I was like, and then I had to go like the next day. And this was like the boy who cried wolf thing. I'm like, I really got to go. She's like, not this time. Peed right there in my seat.
Oh, damn.
Did you really?
Yeah. It was like, I don't know, it was like 20 minutes before I had to go home. So I was like, well, whatever. I just sat there in it for about 20 minutes.
And did anyone rat you out or were you able to?
Nope. I just, no one knew. And,
oh no.
Yeah, I think the babysitter who picked me up was upset I didn't tell her before hopping in the front seat of her car.
Yeah,
but what else was I going to do?
Well, I do not understand this draconian power that people think they have over your bladder. I tell my kids that all the time. Dude, if you got a whiz, if you got a Duke, go do it. Who cares? Like, I've given my kids permission so many times to tell authority to go pound sand. You can't do that. Says who? What are you gonna hold up my pants?
They're my bodily functions.
Exactly. Do what you gotta do.
So here's the worst part. To wrap up this story here, she then says, so they tell her no. She then says, sorry, everybody. And this is on film where she pulls down her pants and her underwear and she squats in the aisle.
Right there.
Right there. Now, she did not pee.
No.
But she did expose her anus and her genitalia, and that, and there were children.
That's no good.
That is a federal crime.
Yeah, you can't do that. That's a federal crime?
Yes.
Because kids?
Kids.
Interesting. So I can expose my genitalia to adults with minimal consequences.
Yes. Yeah. One of the people on the flight said that poor boy next to us. Who had to see that.
Yeah, although maybe he got an education that day. But if you're going that far, why didn't she just pee?
Yeah, I don't know. She didn't.
Seems a little,
I think what they were worried about, they were worried if they were worried about letting her. So she was pushing through people saying, let me pass, to get up to the front.
Sure.
I think they were worried that she was going to try to get out of the door.
Yeah.
Not go to the bathroom, right?
Yeah, I
and
can see that.
open the,
Well, then couldn't they have just centered and be like, "Ma'am, you got to go to the back"? Is that
or no? Just let her just guard the door, but let her use the bathroom.
Yeah, do a Red Rover sort of situation. Form like a chain in front and be like, I understand that when they're landing, the seatbelt sign comes on. I get it. We all have to sit down, but isn't there extenuating circumstances? Like, I'm trying to think of a situation. Outside of a gun to my head bank robbery situation, and they tell me, lay on the ground, don't move. Outside of that, I'm trying to think of a situation where I wouldn't, and there is a bathroom available to me. I see the bathroom.
Yeah. Clear path.
I can't think of a situation outside of that.
Yeah.
If you get up, I will shoot you. That I would not violate whatever rule or regulation to go use the can. I just wouldn't.
Some people have a problem for every solution. I'm related to one such twit. It's true.
That is true.
It's very true. And this woman then allegedly threatened to kill several passengers.
Yeah,
as she ran up to the front. So
it's possible that the bathroom was not the it was not the main issue here. There were other things happening.
So there's video of that if you'd like to see that.
I'm guessing it's blurred for all of our protection.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's probably for the best.
Yeah. But she dropped her sweaties right there.
Well, I mean,
I hope it was worth it.
Some little boy got a hell of an education.
Too much of an eyeful.
Nothing sweet about that, Dolce.
Hurts his rods and cones.
Yes, he did.
6:48 on the Fan.
It's back by popular demand.
Go playing golf and you're going to like it.
The 1080 The Fan VIP Golf Card. Play 4 of the best courses in Oregon for only $65. You'll enjoy a beautiful Northwest golfing experience at the Mount Hood, Oregon Resort, Stone Creek, Forest Hills, and Chehalem Glen. Play the courses Monday through Thursday or Fridays through Sundays and holidays after 1 p.m. Go to PortlandPerks.com and pick up your 1080 The Fan golf cards today.
Getting your guaranteed maximum refund with TaxSlayer feels like discovering a refund tree has grown in your backyard.
I'm the refund tree.
Sawing off its branches.
Hey.
Feeding them through a wood chipper.
My branches! My beautiful branches!
And dancing in its refund rain. Start for free and get your guaranteed maximum refund. TaxSlayer. File fearlessly.
eBay Motors is here for the ride. Go ahead, feel your engine. Admire that perfectly installed exhaust. Your vehicle's moving along this freeway like it was made from fresh installs and a whole lot of love. With eBay Motors, you get over
But we'll see.
I'm going to make an attempt. Now, I will say, if parking in the line, I'm not going in. Tell you that right now.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Well, first of all, I don't.
You don't think I'm going to make an attempt?
I mean, I think you will have the intent to.
I got nothing new this weekend. No one's around. It's just me at the house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where's your wifey? I mean, your girlfriend.
Arizona.
Oh.
She's running like a marathon or something. I don't know.
Really?
Yeah.
Good for her.
She's out running in the hills or something.
Weren't you just in Arizona last weekend?
Yeah. We flip-flopped.
Nice.
That's great.
Don't even go together. You go, I go.
Bingo. Absence makes the heart grow fonder.
All right, well, we'll get a report on that on Monday.
Yeah. Yeah.
But we also have Ryan Buckley's 60th birthday.
60th, yeah.
You old bastard.
Yeah.
Wait, how old are you?
39th trip around the sun.
39. He's going out to dinner with his wife.
That's right.
Probably going to make another baby.
Yeah,
probably
gonna do it.
Not going to make another baby.
Now, are you a pre-dinner or post-dinner do it on the birthday?
That's a good question. I suppose I've done it both ways. Yeah, although I generally think pre is the way to go.
Pre is the way to go. Yeah, especially if you're rocking some belly-to-belly missionary. You want to make sure that you do that before. Because, especially, where are you going?
We're going to Longbond.
All right, so you're gonna tie one on.
It's like a tasting menu situation.
Yeah, so you're gonna eat a lot of food. There's gonna be some booze. Look,
you want to get it out of the way.
You want to get it out of the way.
You do, because you want to go you don't want to come home and be even remotely uncomfortable and then attempting that.
I'll just say for the record, I am pro sex before any date. It's the way to go.
Sure.
You're feeling refreshed. It's early. You're not tired. Too many times.
You're excited.
Exactly. Too many times you go out, whether the food is great or the food's disappointing, someone's a little bloated, someone's a little gassy, the evening wears on, maybe there's a little too much beverage for one of you.
You can work up an appetite.
A lot can happen. A lot can happen from when you go out that's going to negate some post-date loving. Pre-date loving, you're setting yourself up for a night of success.
What happens if you eat dinner at 4?
See, then I think you leave your evening options a little bit more open.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's why I like the early.
You could have the the break, maybe a little post-dinner aperitif kind of a thing.
Yeah.
Well, and then you're still doing it at 7:30.
Yeah,
sure.
You have dinner at 4. You're done by 5:30. You have a drink or two, and you're done by 8.
Well, thank you, gentlemen, for laying out such a wonderful itinerary.
You're welcome.
Afternoon delight. Anyone else ever heard this? Yeah, no. It's way too late. You should have tried to sex me earlier. I have to wake up at 5:15. Don't you dare. Yeah. Like, hey, I got to wake up too. You got to walk the dog. Don't touch me.
Don't touch me. Fantastic. Well, happy birthday to you.
Yes.
Ryan
Thanks.
Buckley.
Yeah. Thanks.
Yeah.
Not a particularly exciting one.
Well, 39,
I mean, birthdays aren't really exciting for anyone past a certain age.
Birthdays
so
are stupid.
It's just nice that someone wants to buy me a meal.
Oh, your wife's buying?
Oh, yeah. She's taking me out
You
for my
guys
birthday.
do separate finances, do you?
Well, no, but it's like she planned the dinner. She's like, she wants to do it as a present.
She wants to do something else as a present, too.
Maybe. We'll see.
Something cool.
Think you do something special?
You gonna do that thing that you rarely do or that thing that you never do?
Now that's next year. That's the 40.
That's got to be for 40, right? Make me feel like I'm not over the hill just yet.
There you go.
Yeah.
Good times. All right, everybody have a great weekend. We are back Monday, 3 to 7. Big night.